This week's episode of the Co-optional Podcast is proudly sponsored by Squarespace. Get 10% off your first order at squarespace.com/cooptional. Create your own professional-looking website with no prior knowledge required at squarespace.com/cooptional. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Co-optional Podcast on the 15th of March 2016. I think it's working. Oh god, I hope it's working. And Dodger is muted. Well done. Jesse, are you? Yes, Jesse is also muted.
I'm just messing with you!
Yeah. Oh god, we had Dodger's audio fixed 3 minutes before the show, and now it's immediately broken again, which...
Why is she muted? What did she do?
You're here now. I just heard one thing from you. Can you? There you go. Now I can hear you.
What the fuck?
You're 3 times quieter than you were in soundcheck.
Co-option.
No. God damn it. Oh my god.
Now she's silent again. Now she's gone.
Now you're silent again. It's almost like you tune in, we won't talk to you.
No optional.
Oh god, now Julia's way louder than she was previously. What is the point of me even doing sound checks if everything's going to change by the time we get on air? Oh.
You gotta just
Jesse's window?
Why are you in Jesse's window? What the hell are you doing over there?
What happened?
I don't know!
My life is a lie!
Get out of there! God damn it! Alright, you're going over here. Alright.
Oh, hey! I just played a game that was about tank girls.
Oh.
Ooh!
Accurate. Keep going. More.
Have I told you about my favorite anime, Bulma Town? It's about Bulmas.
That's a great one. It's the best one I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm
That's really all I know about you. I don't really know much more.
I know. Friends for years, nothing but pointless stereotypes.
I don't know much.
Yeah, fixed it. Oh god, why are we running at 60 frames per second? What the hell's wrong with me? All right, whatever. This is kind of working. Dodger, speak. See, have we got audio from you?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can.
Am I part of the group?
Yes, you're far too loud, but you're part of the group.
No.
There's no middle ground, okay? There's no middle ground.
What is the point of doing sound checks? Nothing ever works. Infuriating. Never mind.
Tune in. I'm trying to talk to you.
I'm giving it my best effort. Julia, I'm sorry that we invited you back to this shit show. Welcome to the Co-optional Podcast.
Hi, Julia.
Once
Hi,
again.
Julia. My love.
No, she's muted.
Yes.
No.
What about now?
Now you're fine. There you go.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
You're good.
This is dangerous.
This is so weird. Why can't it just stay how we said it? I don't understand.
Jesse, you're doing this on purpose now.
Well, of course I am.
Just dick. Oh dear. After about 5 years of using Skype, we finally had so many problems with it that we're like, there's gotta be something else. We've been searching for alternatives to Skype.
We said, we need new problems.
We do. So we're gonna make it even worse. We've been searching for alternative to Skype for years. A couple of months ago, JP found something called Zoom, which is a video conferencing service, and we were able to test it. It's like, you know what? This might do it. Because when I installed the glory of Windows 10, the glory of Windows 10.
Uh-huh.
That was my first mistake. Apparently, it caused Skype to go haywire, and as those of you who are aware, during the stream yesterday, Strippin wasn't able to hear 75% of what I said, which was really
you were
awkward.
constantly dipping in and out. Oh, do you think it's a Windows 10 thing? I have Windows 10 now too.
It might be. It could be. I found some entries on the Skype supports thing, but Microsoft hasn't answered any of the questions, so they may have broken it recently. Who knows? Who knows? Man,
of course. Right after, during sound check, I was like, guys, I have had 0 problems with Windows 10 so far. I think it's fantastic. I think it's really intuitive and wonderful to use so far. And now I'm like, but did it mess up all my audio?
Possibly.
Help!
Entirely possible. No real doubt about that. Welcome to the Crucial Podcast. We do occasionally talk about video games. Our returning guest today is, as we mentioned earlier, Ms. Julia Hardy of the BBC and various other things. Welcome back to the show.
Hi. I know. I've gone all fancy since I last saw you.
Oh
Indeed.
So fanciful.
Very much so. You are, however, missing a key feature of the last show. You do not have Brock Lesnar's face anymore, it would seem.
It was a sad day because I had to move and I had to be, it's kind of a smaller place and I couldn't take the chair. So I can't sit on Brock Lesnar's face anymore, which out of context, if anyone didn't see it before, I sound really weird now. It was a chair.
No, it was. It was a wonderful chair.
You sound like any red-blooded woman who just wants to put on Brock Lesnar's face. I get it. I get it.
But so he's not with me anymore, which is a shame, really, because I did enjoy sitting on his face
right
for many an evening. But you have to move on in life sometimes, and it's a difficult time, really. I miss the chair.
Certainly. I now have 3 of those chairs, although they don't have Brock Lesnar's face on them. I got one from Money in the Bank, which is Dean Ambrose's face, and I have 2 of the Undertaker's face. So
I would like to sit on the Undertaker's face.
There's a quote for you.
There you go. Strip that audio out.
There it is. Just grab that.
Done.
Ringtone it. Last Christmas, I got Sam's whole family different pairs of sweatpants, and I bought his mom sweatpants that have Ryan Gosling's face all over them. And I got the jokes still go. They still happen. Where she's like, I'm wearing the Ryan Gosling pants right now. I'm sitting on Ryan Gosling's face. I'm like, great. Good. It's just such a great, easy joke to make.
So the chat just reappeared again. And
yeah, same for me, too.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's just been a black box to me for the last few minutes.
The best part about chat is everyone thinking that the podcast is an hour early. Daylight savings.
That's why we don't have half our viewers today. Yeah, daylight savings. Yeah.
Everyone's like, why is it an hour early? I'm like, oh, you sweet children.
Wait, is it only Europe?
Europe catches up in a few weeks.
Right.
America does it first for some reason.
Our crops. That's how we won the war. God damn it.
Yeah, it's for the crops.
It's for the crops. Keep the farmers happy.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Is that really why?
You know?
It has something to do with that, doesn't it? I think it's probably...
We looked it up last year.
Yeah, we looked it up.
Did we?
We've already lost all of the information. We looked this up in detail.
I don't recall these facts. I don't know what the hell's going on with that.
I'm blaming the farmers. Someone's got to blame them for something. I'm blaming them.
Someone's got to blame the farmers and agriculture industry for possibly everything ever.
No, not big agriculture. Just like the lowly farmer.
Oh, all right, okay. The farmers who are just trying to get by. Those are the guys that are at fault.
Fuck those.
All right.
Yeah, they're dicks.
Yeah, F those guys. No one gets on their case. They got to be up to something. They can't be that nice.
That's probably true, you know.
If you'd like to send a personal message to some actual small-time farmers in the world, you can go ahead and email Dodgers parents at farms.org.
I stand by what I said. Fuck those guys.
Now discussing evil independent farmers. There we go.
I don't know. It always seems like a bit of a front. Like they're always doing terribly badly.
Drugs.
You know,
It's
they
all
need
they're selling
subsidies.
Well, it's just like it's like when you see a building that no one ever goes into, and you're like, "How is that place still in business?" Drugs.
No, wait. I've got an amazing one right from my hometown.
Okay.
There's this dentist place. It's got big neon signs outside that say like open 24 hours, all this stuff, and it's never open. I've never seen anyone go in there. I've never seen anyone come out. Like in the 6 years it was there, got to be drugs.
It's got to be, right? It must be.
Can't be anything else, really, when you think about it.
Obviously. Maybe microfilm in the teeth.
Oh, no.
You go into the dentist's office, it's just a farmer, and he's like, I'm here to sell you drugs.
Yes,
Damn,
sir, you are.
farmers!
See, I was imagining like that Always Sunny episode when they keep putting cocaine on their gum lines. It's just like,
Yep.
come on in, lay down, and instead of actually doing anything to your teeth, they just like rub some cocaine on your gums and send you out the door.
See, more people would go to the dentist. More people would care about, their dental hygiene.
I guess so. If in the end they rubbed some.
You just got coke.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's why they'd go back. I feel like dental hygiene wouldn't be the reason for their return. I don't know why. I feel like they would come back though. You would have repeat customers. They would come back.
They would be like 20 minutes later. They'd be like, I still think there's something wrong with my teeth.
Are you sure you got it all? I think there might be a plaque somewhere around here. Just give it a bit of a rub.
Give me some more, man. Just a bit.
Can you give it another rub, please? A little bit vigorous. I'll do it. I gotta say,
another rub, please. Also, grab that audio.
Yes, there you go, and attach that to the rest of it. I'd like to sit on Brock Lesnar's face. Give it another rub, please. Something vigorous. That seems like the way to go. So we'll have the
whole set.
Speaking of wrestling, we're currently wrestling with Julia Hardy's audio at the moment because Apple Macs, apparently. Turns out, Macs really, really love to control your audio and continually basically bump it up and down without you being able to stop it from doing so. So
pretty much. I'm constantly, basically, every time I talk, it goes up, so I'm
Whee!
pressing.
Yeah, it's wild fluctuation. And it's like, if their goal is to keep your audio balanced, they are failing monumentally to do that.
Well, this program itself has like an audio balancer, so if someone's talking, it gives them priority and everyone else is quiet until they stop talking.
It does.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it literally just happened.
Oh, God. Is that possible? Can I turn that off? Is that something I can change?
Well, I have no clue.
Let's
but it's
find out.
Considering how often we talk over each other, this could be
internet.
Bad, but... Yeah, so as I said, we switched out. We didn't have a choice anymore. Jesse's audio was awful on Skype. It kept clicking all the time. My audio just broke completely. Jesse, stop that. You are really triggering me right now.
I don't know. TV's Jesse trigger blog on Tumblr.
Yep, it's like today. It's problematicjesse.tumblr.com. That probably already exists. If you don't already know, by the way, one of the interesting, also known as God, what the hell phenomena on Tumblr is that almost every YouTuber has at least one blog dedicated to them, which is everything they've ever done, which people consider to be problematic in some way. Mm-hmm. I have three.
That is true.
As it turns out, I have three.
Three?
Yeah.
I never looked for mine. I gotta be honest.
You don't have problematic. You don't have the problem. You have the other kind, which is like dodgerfantasies.net/
Well, I mean, there's plenty of Dodger gifs, Dodger fan art, Dodger fan fiction.
Yeah.
What's the weirdest thing you've had happen to you, Dodger? Like for a crazy fan?
Bumping this up to an R rating really quick here.
I think we always do that.
Yeah. People really love taking just screenshots from videos that I've been in and then putting fake cum all over my face.
Oh, yes.
Uploading that. And I'm like, that doesn't even...
I don't think it's fake.
In this situation...
I mean, I'm going to imagine it probably is, considering.
For there to be cum on my face. Like, it doesn't make any... I don't understand why this screenshot of all possible screenshots. But some people are, like, really good at it, and they, like, make it look like I'm like, naked from the neck down, and then they do it, and I'm like... Like, it's starting to piece together. The storyline is starting to come together now.
Okay, I stand corrected. I thought you meant they print out pictures and then put fake, like, they put on the picture and then upload that picture.
No!
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
That's so much work!
That's what I thought you meant.
Never underestimate what a pervert will go through.
Photoshop it. They Photoshop it.
Gotcha.
Do you ever wonder, like, sort of all this kind of, like, weird stuff, like how we're actually accidentally training a whole young generation to use Photoshop? We're teaching them life skills.
That's
Really?
great. I mean,
Yeah.
we learn more from that particular perversion than we do from your average A-levels, I would say. Yeah.
I just
Kind of
I mean,
like how
I didn't
there
let-
are plenty of people who learn how to draw because they draw naked people all the time.
Sure.
here's
Absolutely.
the thing. This
Food
is
Wars
all
is
the
a
internet's
dope
fault.
anime made by an ex-hentai artist. Look, it creates good shit sometimes.
This is all the
I'm
internet's
saying.
fault. We as a society have grown past two people just doing it. You got to be some crazy stuff going on.
Yeah.
You can't like look, we're desensitized. Wieners and vagines don't do it anymore. It has to be like 3 dongs and a wing
And a
wong.
horse's head or something.
Yeah.
But if you think about the level of escalation, so like I guess like in the Victorian era, like seeing a lady's ankle was
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yes.
like, what a slut!
Scandalous! Scandalous.
Right.
Right.
And then now, what's left in that short space of time?
Yeah.
You just got to add people, add
Internal?
animals, add
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean,
Yeah.
it started with ankles, and then it just went downhill from there, no doubt.
Have you guys seen that Vine? Oh my god, I wonder if I could find it. It's like this girl who looks perfectly normal, and in the Vine, she's like, "Yeah, I fuck dogs, and where I do it is legal," and that's the whole video. And you're just like,
Yeah.
"What? Where am I? What is this?"
I hate the internet.
I just,
Wait,
Before the
that's
internet,
stupid shit.
we didn't know about this, and that was okay.
Yeah, back in the day, you kept that shit to yourself, and now it's on Vine. So
that's disturbing. I feel like we talked about the dog porn thing last time. So
I mean, probably
Why does this keep coming up? I don't know.
it's
Julia?
Julia is
Julia?
I'm no. Hang on a minute.
common.
I'm not much of a believer of correlation and causation here, but I'm just saying there is a consistent factor
Julia?
to consider.
Julia.
well, stick to what you know.
Yes.
BBC, ladies and gentlemen, BBC.
Yes, the pride of the BBC. It's not past the watershed there because it's daylight savings time. Watch yourself.
It's the internet. It's international waters rules apply.
International
right?
waters, yeah. This is we're actually all pirates, if you didn't already realize at this point.
Yes.
I had to explain to Dodger on the show a couple of days ago the concept of the watershed. As Cry and Dodger had no idea what the watershed was. It's like, yeah, basically like before 9, no dongs. After 9, just dong city.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was like, I've forgotten what the watershed is already. Oh, that's right.
So does that just mean on American TV you can see penises constantly and all the time?
No.
No.
So there's an
You can
there's an
watch heads
FCC thing.
explode. Heads can explode. People
Yeah.
can die.
You-
You see a
If
dick.
you
it is
show a nipple,
over.
you're out.
Over.
But that's
Get out of here.
isn't that only on basic cable or like premium cable? They absolutely can at pretty much any time.
You have to
Is
pay
that how it
extra
works?
for that.
You have
That's
to
the
pay
American
extra.
way. You gotta pay for those dongs.
You do, yeah. It's weird though because you've got to think about stuff like the watershed and the fact that there are 3 or 4 like time zones to consider. So that I think that's why they don't have a universal watershed, but they do have FCC rules. I know that, and that covers a lot of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I still find it quite amazing that like channels would be really, really funny about things like swearing, whereas like over sexualization of women, obviously, is not like they don't see that as a negative thing in the long term.
Yeah, it's a
Whereas
little.
like a fuck here and there, it's like, and then a woman
That's-
in a thong
like-
writhing around on the floor is
That's fine.
cool anytime.
And
This-
what is this? Where can I see this?
What's that?
www.alsatianporn.net.
Don't
Alright,
go there.
I'll be back.
BRB.
Yeah.
I have stuff to do.
It's my site. I just need the traffic.
It's like, my tastes are unconventional. No.
Unconventional fare.
Yeah. Apparently, Julia, is an interesting little fact for Mac. So someone's telling me if you go to System Sound Input and disable turning off ambient noise reduction, that might fix the problem.
So where am I going? System preferences.
Sound Input, and
Yes.
there's an option called ambient noise reduction on the Mac. That might do the trick.
Let's find out. It'll be an adventure.
Yep. Because now you're deafening.
Sorry.
I hate Macs so much. It's just like, oh, why must you take control of everything, Apple? Especially, I'd be okay with giving that control if they did it right, but they don't. They screw it up constantly.
Apple, I'll take a new iPhone.
Well,
I mean,
now you're silent.
I'm silent.
No, she's silent. Having disabled ambient noise reduction has apparently disabled all noise.
Oh, Lord.
About that.
Now you're super quiet. Any way you can increase that?
Yeah. No, it's the same thing as before. It's going to bounce up and down when I.
It's still bouncing up and down even with that option off?
I couldn't find the option. Ha! Yeah, it's going up and down. We're doing the cackle test.
I hate
I could
Apple.
try the. Yeah, it's annoying as hell. I could try using the internal microphone, but.
It's probably not going to improve it. No, don't listen to him. Don't listen to him.
Don't you do it.
All right, okay, do listen to him. Don't do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's cutting off half your audio because Apple.
Because Apple.
Yay! We do not endorse Apple products because they're all terrible.
Yeah, they're garbage. I'll take another one, Apple.
Yeah, I hate them so much. They're
so
terrible.
gross. They're the worst things ever.
What terrible pieces of machinery.
This is a Samsung.
Boo.
Yeah, boo. I'll take another.
Okay, do we have audio from Julia?
Yes.
Great. Okay, we'll deal with it. We'll do some compression in post. All right. Yeah, we're where we are right now. There's not a huge amount that we can do, but I apologize for the audio issues. We'll try and fix them as well ongoing. Welcome to Crucial Podcast. We do occasionally talk about video games, so we're going to do that, and we're going to start immediately. And I'm going to throw it right at Dodger because you have something really stupid to talk about, don't you?
Why are we starting with stupid stuff? How did this happen? We used to be
I'm getting it out of the way.
We always start with stuff people care about. We never start with my stuff that no one cares
we lull
about.
them into a false sense of security, and then we get them.
Yeah, this way we're flipping the sandwich upside down. This way it's not going to be like good games and then Dodgers shitty games and then good games. This time it's going to be Dodgers shitty games, some good games, and then some other shitty games. We're swapping the sandwich, okay?
It's like when you put bacon outside the chicken and you eat it with your hands. I don't know what the fuck.
What are you saying?
Yes, it's just like that.
Just like that. Don't judge me.
Guys, I played the Tank Dating Simulator.
Oh, God.
After 2 podcasts of us being like, man, this game sounds like the perfect sort of trash, I decided I was going to play it. And I really, the whole time that I was playing it, I was thinking to myself, I want Jesse to play this so bad. Because
What's the name of this stupid game for a second?
Panzer Madels.
Panzer Madels. Okay. Continue.
The game is filled with historical references, like constant historical references. If any of you have played or like big tank buffs, like all of the girls are just named after tanks and they reference like which tanks wouldn't like each other because they've been in the same war and stuff like that. Like it's constant historical references, a lot of which are not as effective on me as they would be on, say, Jesse.
I get it.
I really want Jesse to play it.
So you're telling me Sherman doesn't get along with Panzer IV, right?
Right.
Right, okay.
No, Panzer IV and T-34 don't get along.
Well, no, I mean, they wouldn't either, but neither would Sherman and Panzer IV.
They eat lunch together, so...
What? No, that's not historically accurate.
Sherman is friends with everybody. Sherman tries to be friends with everybody.
That's funny in a way. It's funny in a way when you think about it. Sherman was everywhere.
That's not true.
But yeah, it's got all of the standard like tropes. There's the Yandere tank, there's the Tsundere tank, there's the Super tank, which is Sherman. And so that's fun. My one super gripe with it is that you can't choose to just have the girls be tanks. Like, what would have made this game perfect for me is if at the very beginning it was like, do you want to see girls or do you just want to like accept that they're tanks and just see tanks?
So you want to go full hatful boyfriend on it. And it's like, I want to see the pigeon. Amazing. Show me the pigeon.
Yes. I wanted to play this game and walk into a classroom and have a fucking Genki tank be like, welcome to our class. Like that would have been amazing.
Look, I know exactly what you're talking about because I've been visually and mentally scarred ever since, again, back to the internet. I saw 2 F-16 fighter jets with boobs banging. And so that's here. And the fact that I've seen that, now I want to see tanks that are like, they talk out of their little like tank holes. They're like, hey,
Sorry, a tank hole.
tank
Or
holes.
like,
Tell me
Or
more
like-
about this tank hole.
Well, you see, the tank hole is where they shoot the tank bullets out of, and
Well,
the
what?
tank bullets,
This guy taught history.
the tank hole.
tank hole.
The tank hole.
Where they shoot out the tank bullets, and then you got the top hatch, which is
Right.
where the people get in,
yes.
and that's sort of like the behind, the butt, and so you can either go in the top hatch of the tank hole,
Sure.
or you can get under the treads. If you get under the treads, you're in because that means
That's
she likes
filth.
you.
That's filth.
If everybody could take a minute to look up F-16s with boobs, that would be great.
If ever-
you know,
I don't endorse any of this,
Doctor,
and neither
did you
does our
just do that?
sponsor,
I
Squarespace.com.
kind of feel I want to now.
but I want to.
F-16s
Um,
doing it.
Ugh.
So really, really early on, so the Yandere tank is an IS-2. She's super creepy. She's a full-on psychopath. And very early on, they start the jokes where like people will be like, "You ever been in a tank? Hey, you ever been in a tank before?" And you can choose whether to say, "Yeah, I have," or "No, I haven't," because you're entering like the dude that you play is entering the situation being like, tanks are tanks. Like he thinks of tanks the way that we think of tanks. And then he winds up in this town where everybody's like, no, tanks are girls. And he's like confused, right? So very early on, one of the
I
girls
can't
is like,
imagine why he'd be confused by that.
right? So very early on, IS-2 is like, you ever been in a tank before? And he can either say yes or no. And from then on, it just goes super downhill for the rest of the game where everybody's just like, I've been in a tank before. I've been in every type of tank there is. And you're just like, are you talking about girls? I don't know anymore. Like it gets really weird at points.
Yeah, question: in this world,
Mm,
what are tanks called?
tanks.
Okay, but girls are also called tanks.
Yes. They're all the same thing. But in this town specifically, if you're talking about a tank, they're like, yes, those war machines that are hot ladies, right? And you're like,
Is it like explained at any point? Like he's just been like someone put a shitload of mushrooms in his tea or something. He sounds like he's off his tits.
I agree.
So I feel like there's an inherent problem with having physical tanks, but also women tanks. Like it's
Right.
an issue for me that I don't know that I'd
Go
ever
on.
be able to get past in this game. Like every episode would be like me being like, all right, hold on. Are you the tank? Or is there a tank in town you're referring to?
So
Because none of this makes sense.
my big problem is that like in Kansai Collection in Cancol, the one with Battleship Girls, it's like the girls have been infused with the spirit of a battleship. And it could be any type of battleship, but it doesn't mean that they represent all of that battleship, right? Like there are multiple girls who could be the same type of ship. In this, it's implied like T-34 is every T-34 that's ever existed. Like she is just T-34. She is all T-34s. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I can't, my disbelief doesn't go that far. Like, I don't understand.
But that's where you draw the line. It's
That's
not that
the
they're
line
tanks and they're
that's
women,
the
but
line
it's that
for
they're
me.
all the one particular type of tank. I would have probably switched out a little bit earlier than that, maybe. just a touch.
right.
Yeah, would probably given up before that point, and that's
It is
acceptable.
delightful, though. It's very silly and adorable, I think. But like, yeah, I think a lot of the historical references are lost on me, which makes me feel like more people who know history should play it. Huh?
So, if there are real tanks and these girls embody the tank,
Right.
if soldiers get inside the real tanks,
Right.
do these girls feel that? And if so, do they feel the presence of all those men, or do all those men? How does that work? Or
What a great question, Jesse.
Oh.
What a question for the masses.
I just
Question that should be brought.
where also question.
Yes.
Who are these girls' parents? Where do these girls come from? Other tanks? Or
I
did
mean, the girls were built, so
these girls were built.
they were built. Yeah.
They know they were built.
Yes.
They know they were built. And
they are fully aware they are tanks, yes. Here's my other issue, though. Here's my other big issue with this game. There is a mechanic in town, but there is also a school nurse. Is the school nurse a mechanic? Because they don't need a nurse. They just need a mechanic, right? So what's the difference between a school nurse and a mechanic in town? Shouldn't they be the same thing?
We are literally questioning this world. This is like, we've gone full philosophy on this world. Like
I don't think it was ever supposed to be looked at that carefully.
No.
I guess not.
Ever.
I guess not.
This does not hold up to analysis. There are plot holes everywhere.
I want the creator of this game somewhere to just be in tears. Like, I just didn't know.
I don't know. I just wanted there to be school tropes in there, okay? So I put a school nurse in the game. I don't know.
It's so dark. I didn't know. I didn't know it would be this dark. What have I done? I made monsters. Just crying.
Yeah. So, yeah, we should go play Tank Dating Simulator.
No, apparently not.
Also, as an interlude to the video game talk, for everybody who has been constantly tweeting me, asking whether or not I have seen the 3 new Bulmas that are on pre-order, yes, I have, and I've bought all of them, so don't even worry about it. They're fantastic. It's a new bunny Bulma variation. There's a new variation of this one. Oof. It's a new version of this, but she's in a different position.
Christ.
And then there's one of her like old Dragon Ball outfit, which I don't really have up here. So that's kind of awesome. Like her pink outfit that says Bulma across. Yeah, so that one's going to be good too.
I mean,
anyway.
I'd like to criticize this, but I've just added like 4 new Star Trek ships to my collection of over 50.
Your collection next to you. You can't.
Yeah, you can actually see parts of that. It's like, oh, that's all Star Trek ships, isn't it? And there's more of them. Okay, I guess I have no right to criticize at all.
Another game that I played all the way through is The Guest. We talked about
The
that
Guest, not the 7th guest, The Guest.
Oh, the
First
7th
guest.
guest.
Oh, the 7th guest. A cheese ball of a game, but...
If you will remember, last week, I believe, while we were reading through new releases, The Guest came up, which is when we started talking about the 7th guest and all of the wonders that held. But The Guest is an ambiently horror no exit game. It's a game where you're trying to escape the room, and it was pitched as having horror elements, but there's never anything like chasing you. It's just like ambient horror, right? It wound up being a 3-hour game. I really liked the puzzles. One of the puzzles was a math puzzle, and Lord knows I could not figure that shit out. But the rest of them I thought were fun. And there were a couple of points where I was like, I might poop myself right now. I knew that nothing was going to like jump out and kill me, but I was just like, what the fuck is going on? I thought that it was really well put together in terms of tone. Like the moments when you were either really confused or kind of freaked out or like, I don't know. I thought that it guided you where it wanted you very well. Like the sort of tone that it was trying to set with your mindset was always correct for me, at least. It was really effective for me. So yeah, it's a game where you wake up in a hotel and you don't know nothing about yourself, and you find like articles about a scientist going missing, and you wind up, you know, looking around trying to find stuff so that you can exit the room, and it goes from there. And it was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it.
I mean, how mathsy was the maths puzzle?
How mathsy was it? Not super mathsy. It was more like I didn't understand what the sheet of paper was trying to tell me, because I picked up a paper earlier that was like, keep this in mind because you'll see this later. And then eventually I saw it. It was like a battery puzzle. Like these batteries need to be here. And the puzzle wound up being like, this plus this equals this, but times this. And then that times that, and in the end, it should equal 100. And I was like, what the fuck? It's like, what the fuck is this trying to tell me to do? And everybody was like, this is so easy, Dodger. It's so easy. And I was like, fuck you. I don't know what this means. I don't understand this at all. It was like the one puzzle I just fucking gave up on because I was like, I don't know what this means. The rest of the puzzles I thought were great.
Orders.
It's one of...
Put stuff together.
Huh?
What?
There's like an order for like the times and the minus and the like. You have to do the. Is that? Never mind. Science.
Well, good input. Well done.
Oh, I don't know. You know, sometimes I remember playing. Did you guys ever play Obscure?
Obscure? No.
I did not. But...
I think it was like Obscure 2. I really, really liked the first one, and they had this weird thing in the game where you had to do anagrams to open doors. And I was like, me and my dyslexic friend were playing. We were just outside this door going, well, this is not going to fucking happen, is it? Like, we had some things coming after us, and we're like, hey, try B now. That was the best puzzle ever, I have to say.
Yeah. So.
The guest. That's the thing.
I thought that it was good. If you're somebody who's like, I like the feel of like a horror movie or a scary game, but I don't want to feel the tension of something chasing me, or like feel like I have to be in an action game but still have that same tense aura around the game. I think that this did it really well.
I don't know what you were saying in that room, but it sounded like you were yelling gibberish. You were like, I don't know what was going on over there. Yesterday when you were playing that, whatever was going on in your room was like the craziest gibberish I've ever heard in my life. We were in here like, what is she saying? We were trying to listen to you, and it sounded like, we're like, all right.
All right, okay, yeah, sure, that.
He's playing a scary game. All right, we knew what you were doing. We're like, all right, that's a scary game.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Julie, I'm not sure if you saw what I posted in chat there, but someone might have a solution to your issue, possibly.
Yeah, I was just looking at it. Well, I'm not using an app. I'm just using. Wow, I suppose I am using an app, but it doesn't have any option to do anything. It's really quite annoying.
God damn. Oh well, Max, it is weird. Okay. All right. Well, in that case, I'm going to be on the mixing desk trying to dynamically adjust your audio as you speak. So, what have you been playing this week? I am now a producer.
Go for it. It's just like real radio.
Yep.
Okay.
I did that for 5 years at midnight in a very unstable hut. They actually demolished my old student radio station at De Montfort. Used to be in a box basically on stilts next to the student union.
Okay.
Which in a fine breeze would probably have blown over and killed everybody inside. But we did it anyway, and my first show was at 3 a.m., and of course nobody would produce for me at 3 a.m., so I learned how to use their 25-year-old mixing desk, live on air, playing a bunch of music. That was really fun. That was a trial by fire. I hate them for that, but it made me the man I am today.
Oh, yes. Community radio and stuff like that. I did, I remember once, I used to work for Total Rock, and they used to be on Denmark Street, and the setup was amazing. And then they moved to Shoreditch, like in the middle of nowhere. And I'm not even kidding you, it was like in a shed in a warehouse. And the kit was so old, I'm pretty much sure I picked up some kind of Legionnaire's disease.
Yes, probably.
You know, like
ancient mummy's curse.
They picked out the BBC bins or something, you know.
Yeah.
Well, what I've been playing, I finally got around to actually playing The Witness, which I've been meaning to play for ages. And as someone who really likes Myst, although as we're talking about mathsy problems, right, there was one in like Myst 4 or something where I had to cheat because it was so mathsy, and even with the cheat I still couldn't do it.
Wow.
That's how mathsy it was, because it like changed every time. I was like, this sucks. Screw you, weird Crystal
I
Island.
despised Myst so much. I was too stupid. My brother beat Riven, but I'm pretty sure he downloaded a walkthrough from GameFAQs for it. I don't think
weird.
A bit, yeah. It's like, it was really press this button, which was hidden, of course, under a lizard. Something happens on the island. You got no idea what it is. Better go find it.
A leaf moves like a slightly different degree, and you're like, because
so many of those games worked where you'd like
so
flip
stupid.
A switch and be like, I guess I'll walk through the entire island and try to figure out what I just did.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because I remember the first time I ever played, like the very, very first Myst, and we'd like all been playing like these point and click adventures before that, and me and my mate would like stay out really late, and we were really young. We were like, we're so clever, we can like finish Sam and Max, we can play Day of the Tentacle because we're like really smart.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, yeah, you should play Myst, and we turned it on and we played it for like 20 minutes, and we're like, the fuck is this? It doesn't make any sense. Like, what am I doing? Where are the colourful characters? Yeah.
For Riven in particular, the reason I was attracted to it because it looked that damn good. Like, it was like going through an art exhibition. It was so beautiful back in the day. Obviously, it was very static images, but they had little animations here and there just to make you feel like it was real. And it was just a completely unusual experience, something that you just didn't have anywhere else. And then, of course, you realized, holy crap, this is impossible. Like, this makes no sense.
No. I mean, some of them seemed a lot more intuitive than others. And what was the one they brought out that was on like the PS2? Was that like Myst 3 or something?
There's been 5 Myst games, hasn't there? I think like including Real Myst and Uru, if you count Uru. But they on the PlayStation they did bring out a version of the later Mysts. I remember playing Riven on the Sega Saturn, and it was no easier.
Wow.
It's just you had to swap 5 discs because the game was too big.
Yeah, screw that. So anyway, I was quite excited to play The Witness because everyone's like, oh, it's really like Myst, la la la. And then I turned it on and I've been waiting to play it for ages. And don't get me wrong, it looks absolutely beautiful. But okay, I played it for quite a while. Is every fucking puzzle to do with checkers boards? Like,
Yeah.
The lines.
Yeah.
Why is that the answer to everything? Like, I don't mind it for a bit, but it was like every thing. Oh my god.
Well, there's the other ones like the tree puzzles and the maze puzzles but everything's line based.
Mhm.
Everything's line based. So
I didn't get past the square bits. I think I did about 25 of them, and then I was like, fuck this. I've got an app like that on my phone. Just play that.
You know, that's the interesting thing about The Witness is that people, if you boil it down to what it is, it's a series of fucking line puzzles. And that's absolutely a true statement, but simultaneously, the line puzzles in the context of the environment is what makes the whole thing interesting, you know, especially as Dodger was telling us last week about this game, where it's like, oh, you know, if you look at these trees from a particular angle, that's what tells you the problem. You know, that's what explains where you're supposed to be going.
Yeah, okay, I obviously didn't get that far. I think I did like 25 out of the 50 puzzles, and I was like, yeah, I think because I came back late one night, I was like, I'd had a couple of drinks. I was like, I'll have another go. And then I was like drunk and I was like, this is stupid lines. There's some fun in this. My brain clearly doesn't work.
Stupid lines.
Yeah.
I do have to say, like,
reality.
yeah, the Witness is not a game that kept my interest. Like, I've played it a couple of times. I think there's like some really interesting stuff going on in there, but I don't feel like I'm working toward anything. Like, it feels like I'm, especially because like there's nothing about the game that's linear. Like, as much as I've played it, you know, it's like, oh, if you don't understand the puzzle, then you need to go somewhere else and find the place where they teach you the puzzle. And I'm like, fine.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to figure it out myself.
And it's the audio messages. Have you found any audio messages, Julia?
No, not at all.
So they're like little audio, like tape recorders that are just kind of left in random places that you can play. Spoiler: none of them like give you information.
Anything.
Like every single one of them is like, and now a reading from a philosophical book.
The Book of Durst? Is it the Book of Durst?
And you're just like, fuck. And
It's
then it
not
goes
the Book
on
of Durst.
forever where they just like read like a quote from something. You're like, okay. Like, nothing about the game helps you feel like there's a point you're going toward, at least like as far as I've played it. I've played like 6 hours, something like that, and I'm just like, I still don't feel like I'm doing anything.
If you want really amazing voice actors to read you like the Rig Veda, this is the game for you, because that's what happens.
Okay.
That doesn't, no.
If you want stellar voice actors to give a reading of a famous scientist like Albert Einstein, but not do it in an accent and just do it like E equals MC squared, like that, this is the game for you.
No, I don't think I want that. I don't think I want that.
No.
No, funnily enough, no, I don't want to have some like weird person reading out poetry or something at me. I'm trying to think what else I've been playing. Not this week, but I finished a Firewatch. Loved it. Really good fun.
How long did it take you to get through that?
Not so. Well, I don't know actually. Compared to what? Like a few hours. It wasn't like.
Yeah.
Massively
There's
long.
been interesting variance in how long people have taken. Some people take up to 6, some people take around 3. I think it took me 3.5, 4, maybe.
No, so I wasn't, because you understand quite early on that actually looking around isn't really, you don't really need to, particularly. I mean, you've got like the pods.
Oh,
that you
here we
go
go.
on.
Jesse's about to go for you.
What?
No,
Jesse is
No.
big into Firewatch. Here we go. Let's have it.
You don't need to. You don't need to look
Oh,
around.
well,
You're
there you go.
absolutely right. But if you do look around, you find out like 12 jillion more things.
Well, what did you find out? Can we say?
That's a spoiler.
All right,
That's a
spoiler alert. It's okay. I have a button for this. Spoiler alert is now on. If you don't want to Firewatch spoilers, please mute until the big yellow thing on the screen goes away. Go, Jesse.
So basically, the big mystery of the story is that you're trying to figure out who's there, who the other person is there with you.
Yeah.
And so the big mystery is, who could it possibly be? Is it the two girls? Is it possibly the two other rangers who keep writing letters to each other? Is it possibly the father and the son? You just don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah.
As you go through, you discover, just by exploring, a lot of things that are hidden in this world. Like the dead elk with a collar, that is the collar is one of the numbers back in the research facility. So you discover that the research facility that you went to and you were like, oh my God, they're monitoring us. Really, they're just monitoring elk, and it's all in your head. Like,
what?
getting caught up in the moment.
Did you miss that one as well, Julia? Because I did too.
I missed that. I didn't see that. But where was it?
It's towards the very end. It's like one of the last few days.
Yeah.
And so, but you get the clue that it's in the area because of the like that elk sound you hear like early in the game, and you're like, what the hell was that? And so like that is like, you find that collar and you're like, oh, so everything that was in that research facility was a real research facility, but you and Delilah get so worked up in your own like paranoia that you think the government or someone's spying on you when they're not at all. And then it hits you like, oh, well, the detector was placed on that notebook under those papers by a person to make us find it when we turn the thing on, because someone else is messing with us. It has nothing to do with the research facility at all. So then you can also find the place where Ron and Dave, I think, were the other two rangers.
Something like that.
Yeah, they're like hidey hole place. And you can read the last note between them and find a song that one of them recorded for the other one. And so you're like, oh, this is, I don't know if like when they went out to the woods, they like had a little relationship or something. Like, I don't know.
Broke back.
But yeah, it tells you that they're both gone. They're both gone from the area. So you learn that those guys aren't there. So you learn all these different things. And so it basically comes down to, it's like, and then you learn that the girls have been saved. Like all these, you get all these like amazing things with the story, but only if you explore. If you don't, literally it's, who could be doing this? What's going on? How's this happening? And then the game's over.
And
it's like,
yeah. And here's the thing, Julia. What did you think of the ending? Like, did you feel like let down? Did you feel it was anticlimactic or anything along those lines?
Well, a little bit. And like, you could obviously see that it was kind of pushing in a way where you were supposed to kind of figure out what you wanted to do, like with the relationship or what was going on. I was kind of hoping that like it would all just be in his head, like he was just hearing her voice. I thought that'd be great. That would have been really fun. He's just like tripping off his nut. He fell down a gorge like 2 weeks ago and he's like starved or something.
Yeah. Sorry, Jesse, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, I think the biggest problem is how you, the player, relate to Delilah, because I know it gives you so many options of how you relate to her, and you can really get attached to this character. But the more I discovered while exploring was like, Delilah is, like, every time she hits on you, she only does it when she's drunk. She has a boyfriend who is like in this other place, and that scene where she's like talking to someone, like, as she found out, it's literally just about her other life. And so it's not like secret stuff. It's, she has another life. She hits on you when she's drunk. She is a super alcoholic, and if anything, is horrible for your character. Like, the thing your character, because he's grieving over his wife, he has all these problems, and if anything, she's just playing into this fantasy of escape that he has. And so she's trying to escape out there. You're trying to escape out there. The culprit, I'm not going to spoil the end of the game, but like the guy who's doing
Why won't you spoil the end of the game? But we're literally in a spoiler section.
Well, because I want to leave something. I hope people go play it.
No, doesn't that ruin the point of the discussion? We're talking about the ending. I mean, because me and you disagree fundamentally on how well that game did things.
This part doesn't. Like, this part, it doesn't matter if I say who the person stalking you is at this point. But that person all of them are trying to escape from things in their lives. And so the whole point of the game is everyone's trying to escape, and through this escape, they are running from reality. And I think as your character, like, if you realize that early on in the game, the choices you make when dealing with Delilah and like the past, you're just like, you know what, Delilah, go home. And then, and then you're like, I'm going to go home and see my wife. Like, all this trying to run from my past, I shouldn't be doing that. You're like, I'm going to go back and see my wife. And it's one of those things that you, as you explore, you find. But if you're a person who didn't do the exploration and instead relied on Delilah's talking to you to explain what was going on, she's a false narrator. So in your mind, you're like, oh, this girl's coming on to me and this and that. And so by the end, if you're like, Delilah, I want to be with you, she's like, I'm going home, go back with your wife. And she totally shuts you down.
Yeah, she does. I mean, the thing is, like, you know, there's a few things with it. I can see, certainly after you talked to me and after I've read a lot about it, I was able to get from it what I didn't get from the actual playthrough itself, which was this: you are going to get shut down at the end because this ain't a fucking fantasy tale. This is real life. Go back to your goddamn wife, which actually I found to be super moralizing bullshit, especially considering at the start of the game, you get a number of choices to indicate just how bad shit got. And the choices I made, shit got really bad to the point where it was entirely understandable that this person would have left his wife.
Were you arrested for drunk driving?
Yeah, stuff like that. It was like entirely understandable that he would have done this. And then at the end of the game, it basically tells me off for doing that. But more to the point, the whole idea that, hey, yeah, you get shut down at the end because that's just real life and you shouldn't be escaping your problems by doing this. I was like, well, fuck you, game, for one thing. Who the hell are you to tell me what to do?
Well,
Second,
I don't
I'm not done. Not quite done, but... Not quite done. Not quite done. I was just saying, secondly, by giving me the choice, because this is a game, to me, the way the game came across to me is this is not a game about the story, this is a game about discovering who this man is. And the way that I discovered how this man is, you know, through my choices, through my dialogue choices, clashed strongly with the ending, which basically told me I was somebody else entirely. And I was like, no, actually not. No, according to my narrative, I ain't. So there is definitely an issue with that. And, you know, then we jump onto the point of it came across as a mystery and some kind of supernatural kind of thing, and it felt like a giant bait and switch because the middle of it was super, I am really tense. I'm genuinely scared. This is, the game is almost too good at the mystery. And as a result of being too good at the mystery in the middle, the end was like, really? This was just a message about morality and how you have to be a particular kind of person? Bugger off. that was a letdown to me. But I understand what they were trying to do. I just don't think they necessarily executed it perfectly.
Well, I don't think it was about morality per se. I think that the story is about your character running from his life and getting caught up in a fantasy it's escapism. He's trying to get out of how shitty his life is.
Yeah, the problem is at the end it tells you were dumb for doing that, whereas I actually no, I'm completely justified in doing this. My life was fucking terrible before I went here.
The thing is that it doesn't, like, what it's telling you at the end is not you're dumb for escaping. It's the things you read into. Again, Delilah is like, she's drunk,
manipulative and drunk. Yeah, I get that.
And so at the very end, if you fall for her, she's like, what? Because I guarantee she doesn't remember half the shit she said to you. So she's just like, no. And because she has a boyfriend the entire time. And so your relationship's fake to her. Like, she catfished your ass, something fierce, and it's just BS. And so... You know,
what's interesting about that is that I didn't get as much alcoholic from her. Because, one, didn't do enough exploration. And two, she is a surprisingly erudite alcoholic. Like, I never heard a slurred word in that entire... voice recording. She sounded perfectly sober the entire time. And there is a bit where she comes on to you. It's actually implied that she came to see you and that you did the fun stuff. And I think that like that to me gave me that impression.
Yeah.
So,
it definitely is a game that lulls you into
a false sense of security.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just because, like every game, like the woman is like a prize, so you're so used to kind of playing into that. So you assume that by the end of the game, you're going to get her, like if you make the right choices, because that's what happens in games. you know,
Interesting
will
point.
get the right thing or yeah.
Do you think the game was deliberately trying to subvert that particular trope? I mean, that's not entirely unexpected considering the people behind it are very much into that sort of thing, so it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Well, yeah, because I think it's interesting that no matter what choice you make at the end,
Mm.
you don't get her, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way for you to wind up with her. Like, no matter what, she's like, I have a life. you know
what's interesting about it though is that that makes her a fucking awful person because she leads you the fuck on the entire time.
Yeah, that's Jesse's
She
point.
is an awful person. Like,
Yeah.
the
She's an
story,
awful person.
But you never get that impression during the. I never got that impression through the game. I thought she seemed
Much
awesome.
like a very manipulative person who exists in real life. You don't see it until it's staring you in the face.
she's
Yeah.
an unreliable
How
narrator.
did I wind up in this trap?
She gets you caught up in all this shit. 90% of the craziness, if you go play the game again, listen to the start of it when someone first detects you. 90% of the things that happen in your character's mind and in your mind are Delilah. Like, she's like, oh shit, what's going on? She's freaking out.
Yeah.
And it's all her. And then she feeds into your escapism, and you're like, oh my God. So you get caught up in it, but it's all bullshit. The entire thing is bullshit, and it's all in your heads. And so the entire story, the scary part in the middle, all of it is not real. And I think that's my favorite part of the game, is that it literally flips, it like subverts everything you expect a game like this would be.
You liked that. I hated the bait and switch, and a lot of people hated the bait and switch, you know. If I look back on it from an analytical point of view, I can appreciate it. I'm just not 100% sure maybe they need to make it more obvious. Like, it's almost like, I felt dumb for thinking that, and then I thought, like, hang on a minute, no, I did this, and this, and this, and in my character playthrough, it's totally reasonable for me as the character to have believed all of these things. Because the evidence justified it, circumstantial it may be, but it justified the paranoia, and the game built the mystery up so damn much that the fact that there wasn't any mystery at all by the end of it was blindsided me, and it's...
But is it kind of like it's sort of because you're playing a game, you think that there's going to be some, like, you're either going to be stalked or there's some horrendous backstory you're going to find out. Like, you assume that because you're playing a game, all these things are going to happen, and then they don't, and maybe that's kind of the point. Actually, you just went and worked for a summer, nothing much really happened, and then you went home like life. It was kind of boring.
Yes. I mean, and I would agree with that. It's just the game went out of its way to trick you into believing it, and it was almost like an exercise in in deception from the developers. They're almost like they're giggling about it in the back room. It's like, haha, we'll get them gamers. It's like, damn you.
You're absolutely right in that one point. I will give this to you, that they literally, here's the example of why you didn't find the elk. When you come out of the cave where you find all the boys' stuff, you come out of the cave, and it's like, go back around to the gate. When you come over the cliff, if you go left, you go to the gate. If you go right, literally one step right. And your thing's saying go left. Everything's saying go right, go left. You go one step to the right, it goes beep, 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 and you start picking up a signal. Literally
completely missed it.
To the right.
That's so well hidden. That's such a key plot point, and they decided to hide it so far away that 90% of games didn't even find it.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the biggest flaws. But it's also, I like that it's kind of cool that it's a secret that gives away the story really early on.
So the one kind of killer point on that I would make is that's all cool, except they paid to play the game. And we paid to fall into your trap, and some people are salty about that, and I actually don't blame them, because they had to buy it.
So play it again. What?
No, because it's not worth it, because 90% of what you go through to get those last little pieces is just walking. It's hours of walking.
There are plenty of games in the world where, like, if you don't take the time to explore the world, you get less out of it.
It's not about less out of it, it's about getting a completely different message out of it. It's not
Right.
That's not a little detail, that changes the entire narrative.
I know. Isn't that interesting? That now we get to
Yes, but I had to pay for that little trick. Well, I didn't have to pay for it, but
still experience the game, and you can still say, like, oh, I thought there were moments in that game that I thought were really, really well done. Like,
there were, and then there was a giant letdown.
Enjoyed. I don't know.
Julio?
I'm good.
There was an elk. There was an elk in there.
I don't know. When I play a game and at the end I'm like, oh, that was kind of unsatisfying, and I have somebody be like, oh, well, did you find this, this, and this? I'm like, oh man, I'm not angry at them. I'm angry with myself because I'm like, oh man, if I had just taken more time
There's
on
part
this
of that.
game.
But
then
I also feel
would-
like half of it is also down to the game itself, rather than just the player. It's like, did the game actually actively encourage you to do this to a good enough degree?
But it's like that thing where, like, there are some games where you start off and you know that the more you explore, the more you're rewarded. So you're like, I'm going to go left because it wants me to go right, because you know that's kind of the language of the game.
Yeah, I do that all the time. Yeah,
yeah. And then with this, it was quite the opposite. I was like, well, there's not going to be anything down there. I'm just going to be walking from it. I'm not going to bother with that. You know, it's not like I've really found anything yet.
That's my problem with every other game that's a walking sim, is that most of those are like, follow this path, here's the story. And this game rewarded me for I'm going to explore everything because that's just who I am. I must see I'm the RPG guy. Like, there could be a treasure chest down that path, so I'm everywhere. And most of the time, I do not get rewarded for that. This is the one time where I did, where I'm like, thank you for this.
For my years of work.
Yeah, what the hell is that one that just came out? Everyone's gone to the something.
Everyone's got the Rapture.
Where it's like, you go down the wrong path, you get nothing for doing that, and now you have to
Yeah.
walk all the way back. And it's like, F you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I like being rewarded for exploration.
Plus also the run function on Everyone's Gone to the Rapture. No one finds it till
No
about
one found
halfway
it.
through the game. And then they're like, oh, I can like quickly walk. Because you're like, I don't want to look in that house, man. That's going to take me an hour. Screw it. It's just a radio in there anyway, whatever.
Oh, I mean, that's the Chinese room in a nutshell. The Chinese room love to say, oh, you should just go down there. We're not going to reward you for it. Experience our art. Ugh,
Like,
yeah.
never mind.
What?
No, go.
Go on.
I was just gonna say, like, how do you feel when a game gives you two choices? Like, very clearly says, like, you can either do this or this, and you find out that somebody figured out how to do something different or do both.
You mean Deus Ex Human Revolution, the best game there ever was that does that?
Because, like, that's
Oh,
something
so
that
good.
the game doesn't tell you either. The game doesn't explicitly tell you, like, you can do something different.
Fair
It's like,
point.
this, or you can do this. But somebody manages to think outside the box and be like, wait, but there's got to be a way I can do both. Or wait, there's got to be a way where I don't have to do either of these things.
Either
you know?
it's either
I think, like, when games have that, when a game tries to, like, tell you what to do and you're able to say, no, I'm going to play the game the way that I want to play it. I think that that's awesome. I don't know.
No, it was.
I don't have a counter argument to that because that's a solid point. I'm trying to think of a way out of that. There's got to be something.
I think it's more that you get annoyed that you didn't think of it. So like when I go back later, I'm like, oh man. 'Cause sometimes I feel like, I don't know. I guess it comes from like having real issues when I was at school, like, you know, feeling like I was wrong about stuff. And then you end up just like freaking out. And it's like sometimes when you get those big decisions in games, I don't have to look it up online, but I'm so afraid of making the wrong decision, especially when you've invested so much time. I'm like, I can't get this wrong. This is worth the maths.
Yeah.
It's is it the I mean, definitely for alternate endings, I don't think that's really true because you experienced 99% of the game and then the ending was different. Whatever.
Yeah.
I think it with Firewatch, the mystery in the middle is sort of the big key part that the game does best in my eyes. And because of that lack of information, I didn't get a satisfactory resolution on that mystery and felt like I had been bait and switched. I think there's definitely a problem on my end. Absolutely. I accept that. But the game had not really conditioned me to explore that much, and it's so off the beaten track, that particular element that would have explained and really put a lot of things in place. You can, to some degree, say maybe they put it a little bit too far out. But your point's still a good one. You know, finding that third way can be a big deal. You know, the original Deus Ex is a prime example of that. The fact that the game tells you cannot save your brother. It's lying to you. You absolutely can. You've got to figure it out, but you absolutely can. But yeah, you have a point. The main problem is, I think in that situation, I go back and I want to play the game again. Because to me, like, I finally got my counter argument. Finally figured it out. Because Deus Ex had so many different choices, and so much the mechanics were so fun in and of themselves that it really gave me a second playthrough. And in my case, a 10th playthrough. I played that game and beaten it 10 fucking times. There's so many things to find. And I want to do another session as well before the new one, Mankind Divided, comes out. the problem with Firewatch is that what kept me going through Firewatch was how good the narration was, because the gameplay is almost non-existent. Like it's walking, it's holding down W and occasionally climbing, and I don't want to do that again. And the problem is, I know that I've heard a fairly large amount of the dialogue already. So yes, there might be some new dialogue in there, but I'm going to be honest, I'd rather watch it again. I'd rather watch Jesse play it than play it again. And to me, that's a failure because I don't have the replayability. Is that my fault? Possibly. Will people play Firewatch twice? Possibly, but I feel that when you strip out the game mechanics and you rely on the narrative, you reduce your overall replayability.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
There we go. I managed to claw myself out of the hole that I dug for myself. It's like, Dodger just fucking sideswiped me with that. It's like, she has a very good point. Shit. I can't let her win. Damn it. All right, does that wrap up Firewatch for us? Can I turn the spoiler tag off?
I think
Yeah.
Cool. It's probably good to go to a break anyway, so I want to do that, and I'll try and do a little bit with the audio during that the break. Obviously, there's some issues with macOS. We're going to see what we can do, but we'll be back after the break with more video game talks. In the meantime, though, I'd love to give you a word from our sponsors, and I've written us a brand new, wonderful Squarespace ad that I'm sure you're all going to enjoy. Squarespace.com/cooptional, 10% off your first order. Go and build a website with absolutely no talent required. Do it. Just go off you go. We'll be playing some music, and then we'll be back after the break with more Co-optional podcast, more video game talk. We hope do not go anywhere. How about I integrate it into my latest work?
TB, I've noticed your productivity has dropped significantly as of late.
You might think that, but what you don't know is that I'm about to break into the stratosphere with my blockbusting chap hop career.
What is chap hop?
It's the blending of stereotypical British obsessions with a silly accent and hip-hop influences.
That sounds like the worst thing of all time. Also, you can't rap.
I don't have to. It turns out that just reading the lyrics is enough to get people listening for some reason.
Okay, I'll humor you. Give me an example.
Arf, arf. Yeah. Yes, I'd suggest that you don't get it twisted. This rap shizzle, it belongs to me now. Mother flusterer, it is not, I repeat, not a fribbling game. X, gon' give it to you. It is unnecessary for you to wait to acquire it yourself, you see. X will deliver to you.
Stop. That is the worst thing I've ever heard. Why are you wasting your time with this?
Do you know how damaging it can be to a person to crush their hopes and aspirations like this?
To a child, maybe.
Ageist!
What?
A cappella chap hop readings of popular rap songs are the future of our business.
The future of our business is bankruptcy if you don't get the Squarespace ad done today.
How about I integrate it into my latest work?
I just need this ad done. I don't care how you do it. Make it happen.
It's not selling out if you were never in to begin with. Squarespace, go and give it to you. Fluck creating a website on your own. Squarespace, go and deliver to you. Knock knock, open up the door. It's Squarespace, somehow. Ready to build you a website with their simple know-how. Go hard, getting busy with it, if you wouldn't mind. You don't require any knowledge or talent, actually, of any kind. Damn right, you can make a website with no experience required and without a fight. X may decide to give it to you. However, Squarespace will give you 10% off your first order at squarespace.com/cooptional. X has no web design experience, but thankfully he doesn't need it with Squarespace's simple yet powerful interface. X has been doing this for 19 years. However, you can design a website in minutes with squarespace.com/cooptional. Photos, blogs, online stores, or just the launch of the hottest chap hop career in the history of the internet. Squarespace. You should. What in the blue Jesus are you doing?
Uptown funk you up.
We're jamming. In case
Yeah,
you
we're
couldn't
jamming out.
What is the jammin'? What is that? Right, yes.
Mm-hmm. We're jamming.
We be jamming. We
Yeah.
be ballin'.
Right near the beach, boy.
Boy! Welcome to the Co-optional Podcast. We occasionally talk about video games. We are going to continue our discussion of the games we've been playing this week. TotalBiscuit, why don't you tell us a little bit about what games you've been playing?
I can do that. I choose not to.
Whoa!
You can't veto. Just because I took over, you can't veto. That's
I
not
just
fair.
did. Damn it.
No!
I'm president, you're chancellor. I can veto this shit.
Up is down, down is up. What is happening right now?
So unfair. So unfair.
No doubt. All right, we actually have a few games we can talk about, and this is one that you can get involved in because we both played this together, and you were a colossal dick while doing it, which is exactly what the game was designed for. This game is called Gremlins Incorporated,
Super fun.
yeah, so we ended up doing this because we didn't have enough players for Secret Hitler, which is a wonderful game that we play on Sundays, where we find out who the secret lizard Hitler is. It's amazing.
It's me.
It's always him, usually.
It's me.
I love that game to bits.
I'm Hitler.
You seem so down about it. It's like, oh,
I'm Hitler.
I was looking to be some kind of successful businessman that just sold steaks, and now I'm Hitler.
But
Now
instead,
I'm
I'm
Hitler.
Hitler.
Instead, I'm Hitler and a
But
presidential
admittedly, those
candidate.
steaks were good. You could only get them at the Sharper Image.
Sharper vision, sharper image.
Why? Why were they there? I don't even know.
I think you could say that he made a horrible mistake.
Got it. Got him.
All right, yeah, Gremlins Incorporated. So it's a digital board game that we decided to play instead because we didn't have the numbers for Secret Hitler. So we ended up really enjoying it. So it's about you all play a capitalist evil gremlin who is stuck in a kind of steampunk world and is trying to just make his way in life. And he's trying to make his way by just screwing over everybody, just being a horrible, horrible dick. And the game is actually a lot of fun. There were plenty of opportunities to screw over other people that we noticed. Dodger did that frequently with great skill.
That sounds about right.
Which is a little scary because she hadn't even played the tutorial when we started, and yet she was playing better than all of us by the end of it.
That's what happens when you're evil incarnate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she is actually a real gremlin.
Yeah,
That helps.
Wow!
Isn't it obvious?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gremlin.
Yeah, she's the same size as a gremlin. She's got the same colored hair as a gremlin, you know?
Don't
Not
forget
the
to admit-
swagger of those gremlins, though.
Which gremlin
Swagger
though?
is out of control.
Hmm. True
Oh,
that.
which gremlin? Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold
Is
on.
it the one that dresses up as a woman and puts lipstick on?
Hold on. Let me send you the picture. Oh my god. Gremlins 2 girl. Hold on. We'll get her.
Yeah. That one from Gremlins 2.
I've
Yep.
never seen Gremlins.
What?
Well, here's the thing.
How?
Gremlins 1. Gremlins 1 is amazing. Gremlins
That's like
2
I'm
is
watching
probably-
Die Hard.
But Dodger, this is what we all imagine you to look like there.
Okay.
You want me to post that image?
That's
Oh,
me.
man. There you
I
go.
look like that.
Incredible.
Looks just like me.
Gremlins 2.
I mean, just like the boobs on that though. You should be happy with
Oh,
that.
sorry.
You look fabulous.
Okay.
You look so good. Are you kidding
Thank
me?
you.
That's the only female gremlin that
Yeah,
there
it's
is.
the only
It's
female,
one
so
in
you get
drag.
all the men. You don't even have to compete.
Oh, those big Gremlins.
I know that's what you're about. I know every day you wake up, you're like, I'm gonna get all the men today. And you put on your lipstick and hike up your gremlin boobs.
Can you stop with the tongue thing? It is really freaking me the fuck out.
I refuse to stop until Jesse stops.
Oh, you're going to be gift.
When is she not?
Like, it was great. At first, I didn't understand why the game randomized who we were. And then I realized, like, oh, depending on which gremlin you are, you start at a different, like, main
Spot.
point of the map.
Yeah.
So if you were able to choose which gremlin you are, then you could decide, like, what area of the map you'd prefer to be on at the beginning. So, yeah. Like, oh, obviously it would have to be randomized.
Yeah, a lot of the game is about traveling to the right place on the map to basically cash something in. So you have a hand of cards, and these cards can either be used to move, because they've got a little dice number in the top, so you don't have to roll dice to move. So no Monopoly bullshit, which is great. Or you can use the card when you land on a specific square, or in this case circle, and kind of cash it in. So, say I had a mysterious artifact. I have to go to, like, the junk pile or whatever, and I can cash that artifact in for victory points, and the person with the most victory points at the end wins. So, you've got to plan your way around the board. You can only go one... The board is made of streets that you can only go one way on. So, there are certain, like, places where it's like, oh, shit, okay, I've got to go this way in order to go this way. There are frequent squares that you pass through that are bribes that you have to pay or go to jail, basically. There are police squares that will investigate you and maybe also send you to jail. There are places where you can gamble and earn money and all sorts of things like that. So it has like, it's a little bit Monopoly, just a little bit, but it's a lot of decision making, a lot of really fun decision making. And if you figure out where one of the other players is going to like do a big cash in, you can screw with them. It's like, oh, I know he's going to the casino to play this really great card he's got. Maybe I got to see their hand or whatever. So you know what I'm going to do? I know that card costs a bit of money. I'm going to take all his money. I'm going to play something that steals all his money, or that sends him to jail, or that sends him the other side of the map, or whatever. It's really fun. And the really cool thing about it is it was designed for a computer. It was a board game designed not to be played on a board. So you kind of like Hearthstone, you know? You know how Hearthstone could do shit that like you can't really do in a physical card game? Same with this. So we had a blast with it. It was great fun. We played like 4 hours of it. I think we played, 3 games maybe of it? Yeah, we played like 2 or 3 games of it. And we had a whole lot of fun. It was really great. So
and your actual gremlins, like that's your characters, actual gremlins.
Yeah, there's 14 different kinds of gremlins in different hats. Yeah,
the gremlin that lives like in the trash heap. There's the watchmaker gremlin.
There's
like
a bandit gremlin. Yeah,
they all live in different areas.
Trashy gremlin. I'm well,
he's like
friends.
He's like a cute old man gremlin.
Did you also know? So the developers of this game, here's a useless fact for you. The developers of this game made a game called Eador, which was like a strategy game before that. And the lore of this game is based on the lore of that. Turns out gremlins are asexual. Someone complained that there were no female gremlins in the game. Turns out none of the gremlins have a sex at all, and that is canon. That is in the lore of the game. Gremlins have no gender.
They reproduce through water and don't feed them after midnight. It's in the rules.
I'm not quite sure that's the same thing, but
it's totally
let's assume
true.
that it is for the moment.
Yeah, the mogwai, you don't feed them after midnight. You don't get those sons of bitches wet. It's how it works. People on the internet are dumb.
How it works.
You don't know that, internet.
Yeah.
So if they're complete, then why in the film did they dress up? Like gender-wise, was it just they like dressing up?
I mean, I guess if you're asexual like all your life and you've never known a gender, wouldn't it be fun to pretend that you did if you were a gremlin?
Also,
I guess
in the second movie they were being experimented.
Live your life with no barriers, you know.
Yeah, you can dress in whatever you like. I mean, not that you can't do that anyway, but. Hey.
Wait, so what's the lore? So keep going with.
Well, that's the lore. That's just the lore. Like gremlins in the world of Eador have no gender. So.
Right, but. Wasn't the other part like explained that the gremlins are actually like super teeny tiny and live inside of machinery or something like that?
You may have looked at
the original idea of a gremlin was something within a machine, but then when Gremlins, like the movie came out, they took
played on that.
I thought the TV had told us that was the lore in the game.
No, I didn't tell you that. You picked that up from somewhere else.
Was there one? I'm sure there was like a really, really old American show.
It was a Twilight Zone, right?
Yeah, where he's on the plane.
On the plane, the famous thing, yeah.
Well, that's because it's from World War II bombers and stuff, and there's a gremlin in whenever there's a little problem, there was a gremlin, and that became like a big thing with Bugs Bunny in World War II era cartoons where you would like try to fight the gremlin who was messing with American planes. It's
I never saw any of those Bugs Bunny cartoons. I don't think they made it overseas. It sounds like propaganda.
Seriously, go find those videos online. Find the one where Donald Duck becomes a Nazi. Find that shit.
What? No, that did not make it over.
Donald Duck
got left in a boat in the middle of the ocean.
Donald Duck has a dream where he becomes a Nazi, and at the end, of course, it's like, no way! And they have like a Go America thing at the end. But yeah, it's like Donald Duck is a Nazi, and he works on the assembly line making shells for the Nazis.
What?
Look it up on YouTube. That is a real video.
Donald Duck Nazi.
Oh, there's a lot of
yeah. Holy shit, it's real!
Yeah, a lot of those Looney Tunes cartoons back in the day were used as war propaganda. There's some really, I mean, basically every Looney Tunes character at some point shot Hitler in the face. Like that is a real thing that used to happen.
Yep, Bugs Bunny has taken out Hitler numerous times, and Tojo and every other.
What did you find?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah,
he's a Nazi.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff didn't necessarily make it over to the UK, but like the older Looney Tunes, it's fascinating. Yeah, literally swastikas and all sorts of things like that. Unbelievable. But yeah,
It ends
they
with
were
a song.
used as propaganda an awful lot. It's really, really fascinating to go back and watch that stuff. Just bear in mind, a lot of it is highly offensive by today's standards.
Oh yeah.
But I'm gonna give them. I'll give them full credit because they still show some of the offensive stuff, especially with some of the racism in it. But they put a disclaimer at the front and say, "Look, this was a product of the times, and we feel it's important that we don't erase that because otherwise, those who forget history are doomed to repeat it." And I think, like, for a company like that, that's not only a brave stance, but a very sensible one. A very intelligent stance to take.
They have box sets where you can get all of the old either propaganda ones or all the old ones that they don't show on TV anymore. The only thing that you can't get from such a bygone era was Song of the South, which is that Disney movie.
Yeah.
That is super racist.
I watched that as a kid and didn't even realize how racist that was.
Because you're like zippity doo dah. Like the song's catchy as hell. The movie is racist as fuck. But it's been erased. It's been super erased from the catalog. You cannot buy it. You cannot find it. But it has one of the best and most catchy songs Disney has ever made. Ever. And it's like, sorry, no, that's gone.
Product of the times. You just.
I mean, I don't think they should. You're right. I don't think they should erase stuff from history because I think it's. I don't know. Like it's like a product of that time. And yeah, you're right. People do would completely repeat that, and like otherwise it just starts. You end up like you could go back and erase so much stuff because it's not appropriate anymore.
I couldn't agree more. Even something like Song of the South, it's like, look, yeah, we recognize this as racist, but again, it was a product of the times. It's not like that film has no value. It's not like the racism completely erases everything else that film does, which is actually, a good art. That's the problem with getting rid of something like that. And I'm just glad that Looney Tunes, the companies behind that, I guess it's Warner Brothers, isn't it, are not are accepting that was a part of the past because I think it's educational. This has nothing to do with Gremlins. I don't know where we got here from.
Yeah, they're in warplanes.
Yeah, suddenly you've gone super quiet all of a sudden, Julia. I apologize.
That's all right.
There we go.
Not...
You're fine now. That sounds good. Yeah?
Yeah.
That sounds good from here. I hope it does for everyone else. It's okay. Don't be afraid to talk. We're good.
No, I'm really scared now.
No. We've had all sorts of audio issues today. It's fine. We'll deal with it. Anyway, yes. I don't know where we got there from Gremlins Inc., but hey. So what else have I been playing? I played a bunch of I played a bit more of The Division.
How are you getting on with that?
I think I'm done with it. It's not really my thing. I don't think it was ever really going to be my thing. I tried it. I wanted to try it after the beta to see if things had improved. I quite enjoy the quests. The story-driven quests are fairly good because they give me that very post-pandemic feel. And some of the characters are pretty cool. But a lot of that game is just... the shooting. I don't like the shooting. I don't like the feeling of shooting someone in the head 10 times, not them go down. I picked up a marksman's rifle in that game. And I was like, okay, this helps. For killing regular dudes of my level, I can headshot them, they go down. Great, that felt good. But as soon as you try that on a boss, it doesn't happen. And then you're like, he's wearing a beanie. Come on. This is a high caliber sniper rifle. No.
A metal beanie.
Yeah.
Metal beanie. Oh, that's a good album name.
Yeah, so I've kind of run to that conclusion. I will say, though, and I've got a video coming out tomorrow about this game is super impressive looking. Like, as a tech piece and as a detailed world, it's one of the best looking worlds ever. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful and dark interpretation of New York. And it looks like New York. It probably smells like New York, unfortunately. And it's the weather is great. Even the details like the graffiti and all of the little things that you can get, which give you the sort of reconstructions of what happened before. Those are all really intriguing. It's just a shame the rest of the game doesn't really live up to that. But it's a beautiful tech piece. It's a really nice engine that runs really well. It's gorgeous. It's one of the best looking games that's ever been made. But I just don't get a lot of the gameplay.
It's so fascinating to me how many people. That's exactly what they say. They're like, God, this game is beautiful, but I have no inclination to ever play it again. Like, it's not a game that makes me feel like I'm having a whole lot of fun playing it. It's just like nice to look at and exist in the world that was built for it. I'm like, that's kind of sad.
Yeah. Some people really like the shooting. and that's fine, in which case they'll probably love the game. I think that game is absolutely... The loving of that game is predicated on liking the shooting. If you don't like the shooting, no, you're not. You're not going to tolerate it. There's too much filler in between the bits that are interesting, you know? So that's a bit of a problem. And it's just a shame, you know? It's a shame that a lot of the interaction in that game is basically done down the barrel of a gun, when I think a lot of the interesting stuff that comes from post-apocalyptic or post-pandemic media is about the human interaction in a really shitty situation. And a lot of that human interaction is not just shoot the dude. Because that's not interesting. You know, I like shooting games. I love shooting games, you kidding me? But in that particular environment, I want a little bit more. And Division right now doesn't, outside of the story quests, provide that. And, you know, the echoes and some of the little story bits are cool, but there's not enough of that.
I mean, you know, if you're in like a situation where all this stuff has kicked off and, you know, you might just be trying to do the best, like your family might be starving, hungry, so you've turned to like kind of the dark side a little bit because you want, you know, to help your family, which is a really horrible, it's like that whole thing of like entrapment, you know, you never know if you like put someone in that situation, like what they're capable of, because their, you know, family situation or whatever could be at that moment, this could be the solution to everything. And it's not really fair. I'm getting a bit too hardly like deep into this, but yeah.
I don't think so.
Everyone's like in the shit, you know, everyone's just trying to like survive, and like, it's pretty lawless. So why shouldn't people steal a bit of something if it means their family going to get fed?
But with that said, the like post-apocalyptic setting, the one thing most post-apocalyptic movies and shows and books, and they always forget, is like, bullets are a commodity. You shouldn't be running around shooting everyone. You should be like,
I have a lot of ammo and a lot of guns. I mean, I guess it's not that far in the future, and it's not like the pandemic spread everywhere. It's that city, so firearms would be available.
I feel like the only game that's ever made me feel like ammo and guns are like really precious and should be used rarely is H1Z1. It's like the only game I've ever played where I've been like, I found a gun, but I'm not using it unless I think I'm gonna die. Like, because it's so rare.
There's a couple of others. I mean, the Metro games are great for that. To the point, bullets are literally currency, which is awesome. Stalker as well. Stalker: Shadow of Chernobyl, as well as Call of Pripyat. Don't play Clear Sky; it's bad. Those games, it's not about shortage of ammo; it's shortage of good ammo. So, an example in Call of Pripyat is that quite early on, I had my shitty, like, double-barreled farmer's shotgun, you know, that probably shot, like, horse manure or something, because it was the only thing I could find. Radioactive horse manure, though, you know? And I snuck up on this military dude, just outside a military base area that was like, you don't want to go here, it's way dangerous. I actually killed him, and I took his gun, and it was a G3 rifle. Like, this is way better than what I got. And then I realized, what the fuck am I going to load it with? I can't remember what a G3 uses. It's either 5.56 or 7.62. I don't know. I'm not a gun nerd in that respect yet. But I had no ammo for it. So I have this amazing gun, but the ammo is so precious that I can't shoot the fucker. So I was like, you know, that felt awesome. And, you know, I'd love that in the Division if the really powerful weapons were super limited ammo-wise. That would be a cool as fuck mechanic. And you were having to use really shitty guns otherwise.
But then they'd have to suddenly make it so that you can't headshot people like 20 times. So
exactly.
I mean,
that sounds good.
That's not going to happen.
Did we just fix the Division? It sounds like we did.
We fixed it. We did it.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
It solves the problem of, okay, it's not that far in the future, and sure, there's ways they can bullets, but they're not going to find, like, they're going to get the Walmart bullets. They're not going to get, like,
exactly.
special
discount bullets. Yeah.
Yeah. It's an easy,
Stalker was great like that because it had your weapons would break down and misfire and stuff like that. Even Far Cry 2 did that, if you remember. Like, weapons would break, and some people didn't like that, but I loved that idea. That was such a cool mechanic. Yeah, that game took some real risks.
People are just too used to just kind of like swanning in and having absolutely everything and 20 guns and stuff like that. But yeah, you're right. It just shows a different way of doing it. I mean, what's to say in like the Division, like there isn't enough ammo, so you have to do something slightly shady to get some ammo, and then it's kind of blurring the lines a little bit because
you could use the Dark Zone for that.
Yeah,
it would be that would be cool, and it also means like there would be different ways of because one thing that I pointed out in the game is that you are Judge Dredd, only without any of the fun talking. Like, you are literally executing people, but you don't get to quote the statutes before you shoot them with your lawgiver Mac 2. you know? So you're more boring Judge Dredd. You're a mute Dredd.
Wow.
And here's the thing, though. Like, what if... Oh, shit, I don't have any bullets. Can I maybe scare the bandits off instead? Can I convince them that shit's going to go down instead of having, 300 rounds of the highest quality ammo to just, pop people? I think there'd be a way to do that, And also, it would let me say that I am the law, which is wonderful.
La!
La!
Here's the thing. The minute you mentioned it, I was thinking that, and I didn't want to say anything. I just,
Oh, because we did it like 2 weeks ago on the show. I'm not even sure if you were there, but we did the whole law thing for about 5 minutes. It was great.
Oh.
It was wonderful.
I linked it. I linked the video yesterday of the entire scene, just so everyone could be aware and be on the podcast, so they could understand.
La! It's wonderful.
Well, that sort of harkens back, right, to like before the break, like this whole idea of you have a gun and the game could incite you to be like, oh, obviously I need to shoot these guys, but it would be really cool if you had an option to just walk up with a gun and be like, I have a fucking gun. And you don't have to shoot them, but just to be like, I have a gun, and get out of here.
I mean, it could be one of those things like, if you use your gun more often, when people see you, they react differently to you. So it's kind of like, eventually, criminals won't even mess with you.
Yeah, they won't go anywhere near you because of your reputation.
Take it, man. No need to fight. Like, that'd be so cool in a game.
Yeah.
Ultimately, though,
that bit in Fallout 4 where you go out to the wastelands and you got to talk to that scientist bloke, and actually you come in and you naturally just think, because there's a bunch of turrets there, you've just got to go in and just blast your way through. And I can't remember why I didn't fire like I thought I should, and then I didn't. I went in and it was all completely fine. He just chatted to me and I was like, oh, I don't have to shoot everything.
Yeah, Spec Ops has a lot of that, but simultaneously it plays with you because it forces you to do some really horrible shit. Because that game is a massive commentary on how silly a lot of war games are, and it does so fairly effectively. But ultimately, it isn't that game. This game is an RPG. It's a looter shooter, and it's slapped on top. It's slapped on top of a real world environment. That's what it is.
That's the biggest flaw with the game is the lore and the world is awesome. It's stuff they put in the game. The gameplay itself is not. This thing is I would love another game based in this world that wasn't this game.
Yes, exactly. No doubt. 110%. Yeah, that's how I feel about The Division, honestly. But hey, if you're having fun with The Division, great. I'm happy for you. Happy for you. Another game.
I do wish. Oh,
sorry, go ahead. No.
I was just gonna say, I do wish that more games actually took your reputation in the game into account. There's so many games where it claims that it does, where it's like, oh yeah, you're becoming, the hero of this world, but people still are just like, don't step on my chickens. They say the same shit to you they said at the very beginning of the game, and I'm like, why is this game pretending that my reputation matters to anyone? No one gives a fuck. Games that are able to sort of progress that way in terms of how you interact with people, I think that's such a cool element that they would commit more to that.
Yep.
Yeah. It's totally awesome. It's a shame it doesn't go that way, but hey, ultimately the game is a looter shooter. It is not a game for that kind of consideration, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, so, I guess you have to take it for what it is, and then either play it or not play it. Another game that I played is the beta, or alpha, I guess, of Paragon. So it is the new Dota style or MOBA, whichever you prefer to call it, from Epic, as in the Unreal guys. And it's in Unreal 4. And they released the alpha or beta version, whatever it is, and we played a few hours of that. I actually played with Strippin. So far, so it has some cool elements, but some real problems. So,
yeah,
the good looks beautiful, gorgeous, character design, really good. I mean, there's a beaver in a mech suit.
Perfect.
I like it.
He's one of my favorite characters. He's called Howitzer, a beaver in a fucking mech suit. So I'll dig it. I can dig it. And the whole thing's beautiful, and there's also this real element of verticality, because it's a third-person game. Dota's usually face down. League of Legends, down, top down. This is third person, so someone could be up here on a cliff and you don't even notice them, and then they shoot you. And it's like, oh, that's neat. I haven't seen that before. You know, it's taking the verticality from something like League or Dota and taking it to a new level. So I like that. And the combat feels quite satisfying. Yes.
Is it like Smite in that way?
Smite doesn't have verticality. Smite's flat. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. Smite. It's the same camera perspective as Smite, but Smite is a flat game. This is not.
I see.
So that's cool.
So there's like levels.
Yes. Yeah, there's cliffs. Real cliffs and stuff.
I got you now.
Yep.
Okay.
And the combat, at least with the ranged characters, feels really good. Like, it feels much, much more like a shooter than Smite does. Smite has this real auto-aim on a lot of things, and all of its abilities are obvious cones or circles. This game is less about that. It doesn't actually give you a conal indicator as to where you're going to fire. You've got to aim. And your auto-attacks, if you miss, you miss. You know, it feels a lot more like a shooter, whereas Smite, you just have to be kind of near the target, and then the auto-attack kind of homes in on them. It doesn't do that in this game. Those are the good bits. The bad bits, the worst bit, the full worst bit of the game is that it has, instead of items like League of Legends where you just go in and it's like, all right, here's the store, here's the shop, I buy items, and you've got all the items available to you. In this game, you have to acquire the items through card packs, which you get in between the games, and you can only take a certain number of things into the game based on what you've currently got from card packs.
What?
I don't like that.
No, and why don't you like it? Because I'm pretty sure you're going to come up with the same reason as me. Why do you think it's a bad idea?
I just don't like anything like that where it's down to freaking cards and you can't have any kind of consistency in what you're doing. It's irritating.
Yep.
So irritating.
There's a lot of that because it's going to be inconsistent as to what everybody has, you know? Some people are going to have more cards, some people are going to get less, some people are going to get lucky, and then get a card. And the problem really is that, like, in order to come up with the optimal build for your character, you have to have the right cards, and you might not. Like, you really might not have them, in which case you're limited as to who you can play properly. So if I want to play, like, a caster, and the cards I have are all basic, and I don't have, like, the really good stuff to optimize, I play a worse caster before... it's like I'm at a disadvantage before I even start. You know? Where's the fun in being a disadvantage there? Now you don't have the adaptability. What if a game goes a particular way and I decide, you know what, I need something else, and I can't have it because I didn't bring it with me, and I'm stuck in there for like 40, 50 minutes. Now, this is not technically pay to win because you can't buy these packs, but you can get boosts which will get you the packs a bit quicker. So there's definitely...
You pay for them, though.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Oh, yeah, it's sort of slightly Polish.
Yeah.
It's like, it's taking, you know how League of Legends does the boosts and how they do runes, and you can get those quicker? It's like that, but cranked up to like 20, because you're not just getting runes, which are little upgrades to your character, you're getting, it's full-on items. I think it's a terrible system. I think they absolutely just scrap it completely. Because to me, what they did was, they're not adding anything with this. You know, Dota has loads of items, League of Legends has loads of items. It's like, what if we had loads of items, but we took them all away, and then we gave them back to you slowly? That's not beneficial.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
The only person that benefits is you, the developer, because you want to sell more XP boosts. You know? I want that gone. I want it gone completely. I think it really ruins the game. Also, the games are quite slow. It took like 50 minutes to win a game. I think like the movement speed and the size of the map. I think if they made the movement speed faster...
50 minutes?
Yeah.
They were like
50 minutes.
hour-long games?
Yeah, most of the games we play like an hour long. And obviously, like, we're kind of bad, so maybe when we get better, it will be less like that. But, you know, it's like, that's like Dota. You know, Dota games can take that long sometimes. And it's too much. It's too much. And also the item design's boring. Everything's passive. It's like, oh, great. An item with stats on it. That's exciting. You know? In Dota, I get an item that could turn you into a fucking sheep for 5 seconds. That's awesome. This item's got plus attack speed.
Great.
I'm so excited, I just can't hide it. La 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 la, I think I don't like it. Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's got potential, but they gotta work on it. I think they're gonna go back to the drawing board with that item system and fucking just throw it in the bin.
Let's write them a Stanley worded email right now.
I could.
Right now.
Or I could make a video.
Right now. As a group.
Yeah. Yeah, it's...
Yeah, shitlords.
Yeah.
I'll start.
No, you're not allowed to call epic shitlords. That's not okay.
Dear epic shitlords.
Dear epic shitlords. We'll put epic in purple, so it's Warcrafty. They'll appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing that's kind of cool about it, because it's still an alpha. They haven't finished the models yet. The game has a big boss, just like League of Legends has Baron Nashor and there's Roshan in Dota. They haven't skinned him properly yet, so he looks like a giant purple gummy bear. So people call him,
amazing.
Yeah, so people refer to the end boss as the gummy bear. It's like, gotta get the gummy bear. And it's this giant purple thing.
They should not ever change that.
I agree. I think they're going to the community's going to react badly if they get rid of the gummy bear now.
Gummy
It has to
bear.
just look like a gummy bear now.
Yeah, it's got to be the gummy bear.
Well, Ghostbusters started a trend with kind of desserts that are bosses, and they should have continued it on more, really, in gaming.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Have
Agreed.
Marshmallow Man make an appearance, the Stay Puffed fellow, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's good.
I could imagine being attacked by a giant group of angry profiteroles. That could be a thing.
Have you ever got the impression that profiteroles would be angry, though? They don't seem like they have that emotional range.
I don't know. I once got barred from a harvester, and a man tried to throw a plate of them at me. So,
How do you get banned from? How do you get banned from a harvester of all places?
Sitting on faces.
Did it involve Brock Lesnar by any chance?
Sat on Brett Lesnar. That was the
outside of my
problem.
turf. No,
Oh, right, okay, yes, that's how England is. You understand? Everyone's in a gang.
No. It was basically me and my cousin were drinking, and we were like 16, and we
In
just
a harvester, never.
Yeah, well, we were like 16 and we just finished our GCSEs and we'd gone there with our family.
Yep.
And our parents were like, oh, you can sit on your own table because you've done your GCSEs. And so then we had like 3 pints. So obviously we were wrecked.
Yeah.
And we were just chatting to each other and some guy like taps me on the shoulder. This guy who was like 30 something in a really smart suit, a harvester. Are they in America
harvester.
as well?
No,
Right?
there are no harvesters in America.
I don't even know what it is.
How do you explain it?
I'm
in America?
imagining an
I mean,
Applebee's.
it's a carvery, right? Like,
Yeah, it's like
it's a
really-
carvery pub.
It's Applebee's. It's Applebee's. Great.
Yeah, it's the English equivalent of it.
So he's in this really smart suit with this girl on a table next to us. Like he's taken her out for a classy dinner.
And harvester.
At an Applebee's.
I'm like, you're a loser.
Good solid £6 for a pint and a carvery dinner. Bargain.
Nice. And so he taps me on the shoulder because I think we'd been talking really loudly because we were drunk. And he basically said something like, we've had to listen to you girls all evening. And anyway, I just ignored him because I was really drunk. And I turned around and he had like that much of like a pint left and he tipped it over my head.
Oh.
And I didn't notice because I was really drunk. like at all. And so like my cousin's like, he just tipped a drink over you. And I was like, oh yeah. And like the waiter had just come to like bring a fresh pint. So I just turned around and tipped the entire thing over. So then he stands up, like, like in cartoons where like Steve comes out of someone's ears because they're so angry. He turned around, like trying to look at me, but he can't. There's so much water like over his face and running down his face and all over his suit. And they just put this pint and the desserts, and my cousin had ordered like profiteroles. So then he like dove at the table, picked up these profiteroles and was like, you bitch, and was like trying to throw them at me as these 2 waiters like jumped on top of him.
The BBC, ladies and gentlemen.
Holy
That's
shit.
the best story I've ever heard.
And then we got they were basically trying to kick him out, and he was like, "No, I'm not going." And we were like, "I think we should probably leave."
Yeah.
And then we sat outside and like smoked a cigarette or something. And this like giant police meat wagon turned up with like 12 police officers, like got out and like marched inside, and we were like, "I think we should move away from the
Get away from the paddy wagon.
I think we should go."
My favorite part of this story is that your family was like, you guys get your own table. You're adults now. Good job. And you were like, fuck! Just, like, dumped beer over somebody's head, like got into a fucking almost fist fight. It's just so good.
To be honest, it's more of a rite of passage for 16-year-olds in the UK than anything else. We basically did the exact same thing. As soon as we got to sixth form, we went to the pub.
After knowing Sam for this long, I'm realizing that just seems like how it's done.
It's fairly standard, yeah. It's
mean,
not
there's
entirely
not much
unusual.
really to do in England, and like
No.
everything is so heavily. It's one thing I've kind of noticed actually. I did this bunch of vlogs when I gave up alcohol for a year, and people kind of still watch them. This is a few years back, and I've had and I think they're guys from the States, just purely from like the time that they're posting and stuff like that, who are just so like really, really, I don't know if they've had problems like with drink or something, but like the whole point was I gave up for a year. And then at the end of the year, I had a drink with my friends and I raised like over $6,000 for charity. I was quite happy with that.
Ding ding.
And yeah, but they've watched this thing, missed the entire point that it was supposed to be for charity. And it's just like, yeah, you whore bag drunk, like you're disgusting, like you obviously have a problem, like, and all this
The
sort of stuff.
Puritanism when it comes to alcohol in the US is insane. Like,
But like, you have no idea what life is like in England just because you've had an issue. Obviously, I appreciate people do have a problem with it. I get that.
Of course.
But this guy was like, he was like, you know, F you, I've helped loads of people get off drink. I was like, what? Because you go on and call them whore bags.
that doesn't get anyone off. Well, it's like the whole fat shaming thing. It's like, if we push
worked for him before.
if we push someone to the point of suicide, they'll decide to get fit all of a sudden.
That's how you
No,
know.
they probably won't.
Technically, they're not a drinker anymore if they're dead. I think that's his.
Fair point. Yeah, 100% success rate on the cure. 100%.
He's actually a murderer, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
He actually just kidnaps people and murders them.
Can we go back to your story for a minute?
Oh,
I like the part that the 30-year-old dude in the suit, while on a date, took the time to lose his shit with two 16-year-olds. Rather than focus on his date, was like, I'm going to show these kids what's in it. And pour the drink over your head like, yeah, that'll get me laid tonight. And then you're just like, no.
I'll do you one better.
And he's like, oh, the food is now in your face. Who is this guy?
If I was the girl with that guy, I'd be like, I'm gone. I would have left like this.
Oh, yeah.
No, you don't understand. This is the UK. She wouldn't have. That's actually an attractive quality to some people.
No.
Oh, come on. I lived in Newcastle. I've seen what chavs are. Yes. I've seen what chavs are. No
There's
way.
a difference between, like, fighting for the woman you love and just being a dick. Like, I'll show you with beer. Like, what is it?
But like, here's the thing. Like, my family was straight away like, Julia, what have you done? I was like, he genuinely started it. I
Yeah.
He did.
I just ignored him and I sat back down and he started tipping beer over. And then then I tip beer over him and he gets really upset. I was like, you just tipped beer over me like 2 seconds ago and you're really angry? Like,
Yeah. You're the one in the suit. Maybe you should have thought of this
Before you fucking did it.
repercussions, You
Yeah.
dumb
Damn
bitch.
ass.
Like,
Yeah.
get back to Burton Menswear and get another one.
Yeah. You got it from George. You didn't get it from Burton Menswear, let's be honest.
Asda.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, Burton Menswear's a little bit high-end for that guy, by the sounds of it. Oh, my God.
I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
We were talking about drinking for some reason. American Puritanism when it comes to alcohol is pretty hilarious. It's mostly prohibition shit. Like, you know, they were told for God knows how long that alcohol was literally Satan. So some people continue to believe that this day.
We're dealing with that now with marijuana, too.
Yes, you are. You know,
like, we're
reefer
literally
panic
in the middle of trying to convince people that marijuana doesn't turn you
isn't
into
the Satan.
devil
Yes.
coffee, so.
You mean the devil's weed?
Yes. The devil's plant.
The
That
devil's-
one.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It turns women
It's like,
into prostitutes.
How did the devil get control of only that specific plant? You know, I mean,
Everyone is allowed.
He's a powerful guy. You think that there would be.
did he sneak it in there? It's like, God is a botanist, but he doesn't pay a lot of attention. So, I think we can make this happen.
That's what happened.
He snuck it in there, yeah.
God was trying to help Kanye win an award, and while that was going on, the devil managed to get a plant made.
Yep, he made a plant, and he snuck it in there, and now we have to deal with it. Reefer madness.
Thanks, Kanye.
Oh, God, Reefer Madness. Jeez.
Yeah.
You're
That's
gonna
a
jump off a roof.
great musical.
Quite. All right, back to video games for the next 27 minutes before I go and start my steak cooking in my sous vide. It's going to be very exciting. Yeah, 2 hours of the slow cooking there, and then finishing the broiler at 700 degrees. It's going to be wonderful. Jesse, have you played anything else this week, or am I going to talk about Battlefleet Gothic?
I haven't played that yet, so hopefully you'll have something to say about it. But I would like to say that I finally hit the point in Clash Royale where I'm pay to win this. Oh my God.
You hit it?
So, oh God, I hate it now. So, basically, the way the game works is there are ranks that you can earn, there's trophies that you can get, and all of that, and then there's cards you can get to either unlock different characters or upgrade those characters. And the vast majority of this is done through playing and waiting. If you don't want to play and wait, you can spend money and get cards. And then those cards are random, but you can buy more of those. You can buy money to do all sorts of things. Needless to say, at some point in the game, and the first time we talked about this, I spent $49.99 to get some gems, and that got me to like rank 4 pretty easily. I had all these cards and just destroyed.
So the fourth arena 4. Yeah.
Yeah. No, like the little like blue, whatever the blue.
Oh, that's experience. That's not that important at all.
Experience, but it matches you. It matches you up against who you play.
No, it doesn't. It matches you based on trophies, not experience. Because
I'm always matched against people.
Yeah, I'm always matched against.
I think that's a coincidence because, like, obviously, like at a certain experience level, you're probably also a certain skill level, but it matches based on trophies. I have a variance of people because if you run into someone with higher tower HP than you, that means they're a higher level. Because your experience only dictates how many HP your tower have. That's the only thing it does.
But it I think all of that goes into matching. I feel like your trophy.
You might be right.
I feel like all of it does because I've never had anyone who's been way too high or way too low. They're always either my level or one above or one below. And so
yeah, I think you're probably right.
The problem is as you level up. So I powered through and destroyed from 1 to 4, and then I hit 4, and it became just like I'm playing a normal game. I have all these cards. So from 4 to 6, I was just I'm playing. I'm waiting. Like I played. I can't even tell you how much I played the past week. I played a bunch, and the thing I realized is that when you're playing without buying stuff, anytime you can unlock something, you are thrilled about that, and you immediately are like, "Oh yeah, I'm getting a new level on my barbarians or whatever." But if you're paying for things, what happens is you get bombarded with cards. And you do not have to upgrade stuff.
No, you don't.
You can let it just sit there. And so what happens is, I finally hit the map, whatever arena is that it's like the mana fields, I think.
Yeah.
It's the one after like Pekka's Playhouse or whatever one. So it's like 5 or 6. I don't know which one it is. But
you see, I smirked at Pekka as well, and none of the Americans smirk at that. It's wonderful.
I don't know. Is it?
They don't.
Dick.
It's a
dangle
dick.
dangle.
Yeah.
Is it a leader joke?
It's a Pekka. Yeah, and there's a mini Pekka in that game as well.
There is.
He's adorable.
So
I know. I laughed my ass off and people like, what are you laughing at? I don't get it. I'm like, no, that's hilarious. You don't understand. There's a big Pekka and a mini Pekka. I am 12. What is this?
But eventually everything, because it all features into who you get matched against. What you can do is you can only upgrade things that you want. Like if you spend a lot of money, you can upgrade only the things you want, go into a match with a level that's way under the level that you should be at, and be matched against people who are in your crown ranking. So what happens is I'm matched with people. So I'm like, I think I stopped at like 1280 or something like that. So I was like 1280, and I would get guys that were like 1300 or 1250, something like that. But their level was my level, but the cards they were playing were each of those individual card levels
were weaker.
3, 4, 5 levels higher than what I had.
That far? Wow. So
yeah, and it's all like because of that. Because what you can do is, because your level only goes up when you upgrade your cards or you give cards to other people, what you can do is literally just leave all your cards with that green, like, you can level it up bar, and only upgrade certain ones. Thus, because when you hit level 6, it takes 1,000 cards to upgrade to 7. So literally you're just like, well, I can just sit here and only upgrade these things and basically fuck the system. And just like I've hit this area where everyone there, mostly names that are super Asian, I cannot even pronounce the same.
They're all Chinese and Taiwanese dudes. Yeah, I run into them all the time.
Destroy me, and it's not like I can fight them, because all they do is they drop, and it must be a meta. They drop a like level 10 crossbow and a level like
I'm sorry, a level 10 crossbow.
Like something like that.
It can't be level 10. That's an epic card. There's no way they have a level 10 crossbow. You literally can't get that.
Literally they're dropping ridiculous cards. And it's just like, all right, well, I can't fight you. And so what happens is, here's the best part, then you start to lose trophies, and suddenly you're matched with people who are like around your like level of things again. You're like, oh, okay. And then, you play your way through and you're having fun, you're losing, but you're winning and here and there. And then all of a sudden, you hit that
You
thing
run
again.
back into that wall again.
And it's like, hey, I bought all these cards. And it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks so much. It's just like,
I think it might be that particular bracket that's got that major problem. I do agree, like, the matchmaking, at least at my rank, is pretty much all trophies. Like, level just doesn't come into it. It's,
Right.
I'm getting people around my trophy rank who are maybe either 100 higher or 100 lower than me. It's always getting that. Always. So, I'm not running into these people that have way higher stuff than me. I will find that someone might have one card that's higher than me. Maybe they have a level 10 knight, whereas I have a level 9 knight. But it might be just at that bracket, because in theory, those people should get out of your bracket pretty fast. They'll get into a different arena. But if it's not happening, then that sounds like there might be a problem with it. Because I'm not finding that's the case. I'm at about 2,400, 2,500 trophies, and I'm fighting in whatever the, like, Magic field is or whatever, and I'm running into constantly, like, Asian esports dudes and things, and I'm beating them on a fairly regular basis. And I'm finding they have the same cards I do. Like, they have the same levels I do. They might have a different composition, but my build is good, so I can fight them. I can win maybe half the time. But if that is true at the lower ranks, that you're running into that problem, then that's something they need to fix, because that's not supposed to be that way.
yeah, like one of the game's actually strong suits is that even if you lose a bunch in a row, you can really quickly earn back those trophies. It's not hard to do.
The games are really fast.
Yeah, the problem is that it's that level system where it can easily be, like, by throwing money at it, you can exploit the level system, keep your level low, but have ridiculously powerful cards and then rack up trophies. So now it's combining your, like, low level with your high trophies, and it, like, throws it's
Interesting. Yeah, maybe they need to redo the algorithm. I mean, the other thing they could do is make level more advantageous, because every time you level up, your towers get more powerful. So maybe they just don't get powerful enough, because you usually get, like, about 100 HP extra on the tower. That's not a lot, all things considered. Because usually when you kill a tower, you killed so with overwhelming force, or, like, a really well-timed, like, Hog Rider or something.
Oh my god, I want a Hog Rider so bad.
They're so good.
I want it.
They're, like, one of the best cards in the game. I win so much with Hog Riders, because they overcommit to one lane, they just send a Hog Rider down the other. Or it's like, I'm going to put a tower in the middle. Fuck you. Hog Riders jump over rivers. Whee! Little piggy goes and just fucking whacks it with a hammer. And that works really well. Or, like, I use a rocket to just finish a tower off. Right. I play defensively till sudden death. I hold them at about 150, 200 HP, and then I rocket their tower and win just as the time is about to run out. They are salt. They are so salty. Julia's eyes are kind of glazing over here, because I think we've got a bit too in-depth on Clash Royale. Have you had a chance to play Clash Royale yet? Obviously, it's the big new hotness on
Not at
iOS.
all. Could you tell?
No, I could absolutely tell. Did you play Clash of Clans at all?
No. I've just, like, I tend to not play so much on, like, tablet and all that.
I don't
kind
blame you. Most of it's shit.
Well, I find it really hard now that I have a real job to play games anyway at the best of times.
Shots fired.
Wow.
No, so I don't mean like that. I have, like, anyway, I don't mean you don't. I just mean I've got to do shit. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, we don't have to do shit.
Huh?
No, but to playing game anyway.
Should I get my shovel out?
Yeah, it's going to make it completely worse.
I love making my guests feel awkward. It's wonderful. Continue.
I feel super awkward. But I've been burnt so many times on other, like, stupid, like, tablet games. I'm just like, you know what? Forget it. I just, like, if I'm going to sit down, it's going to be on the PC, it's going to be on the console, something I can get really, like, into. Apart from Her Story, which I did play.
Well, the thing that I've been saying for the longest time is that the good mobile games were good because they were, like, on PC. Like, Her Story is the same on mobile as it is on PC. And then it's like, well, what about the mobile games that are on PC? It's like, well, most of them are awful, like, for a lot of reasons. Like, I mean, Clash Royale would work perfectly on PC as well. It happens to be a very well-designed mobile game. Very well-designed. But it's like, is this any better on a tablet? Like, I don't think there's a single game that's better on a tablet than it would be on a computer.
Okay, so Monument Valley, I did really like, and the Room series I actually really liked. And
Sure, I'll concede that. Yeah. Monument Valley, in the way that it controls, is probably more responsive on a touchscreen than it would be a mouse and keyboard. So that's definitely one of them. I imagine, like, Landsliders and probably, like, Crossy Road to some degree as well are probably, like, better on a touchscreen. Fruit Ninja, I don't know. Fruit Ninja's fine with a mouse, I'd say. You could play that. but there's so few. You know, a lot of the games are just like, this would just be better on another platform.
Oh, there was what was that one a while ago? The Silent Age, that was really good.
Oh yeah, that's going back a bit.
Was
Yeah.
that originally PC? Or then there was the Machinarium one, but that was originally PC.
Machinarium was PC. Yeah, the Silent Age.
That game was so fun. Now.
Oh, Machinarium is just beautiful. Silent Age is actually on Steam. I don't know if it released first on Steam. It actually came out May of last year. I don't know what was the release.
I think it was tablet first because I feel like it was a long time ago.
You are absolutely right. Actually, it was released in 2012 on tablet, so that's 3 years ago. Yeah, point and click puzzle game.
And you'd think there'd be a lot more, really. Yeah,
You'd hope so. The problem is like they don't do very well. Like the games that do really well on that system are usually exploitative garbage. You know, things like Candy Crush and to some degree Clash of Clans, which isn't as bad as a lot of other games, but you know that Star Wars game that I played for ages that was an exploitative piece of shit. I've finally gone cold turkey on it. By the way, I finally just got bored of it and stopped playing it. Mostly because Clash Royale was better, so I just played that.
I think the one that really burned me was there was this one called Tiny Tower.
Oh God, Tiny
Fuck
Tower!
That
Oh.
game. No,
Fuck it.
Fuck that
Fuck
game.
It. Oh my God.
It's not a game.
I was obsessed. It's not a game. It's not a game.
There's no decision making. It's not a game.
I paid money and then I got really annoyed. So I fast forwarded time on my tablet so that I could just progress. And then everything went weird. I was like, I need to stop.
Gotta walk away, man.
Yeah.
Just leave it. I'm out.
Yeah, that's what a lot of mobile games are like, and it's so unfortunate. It's just like the market doesn't reward quality at all. It rewards shitty ports. Like, the kids who want to play Halo on their iPad who can't play Halo buy the fucking Halo ripoff, or they want to play Gears of War, so they buy the Gears of War ripoff. You know? They can play fucking Minecraft on it at least, but even that's an inferior port of the PC version. And then everything else is just, let's milk as much money as possible out of you.
It's also, there's so much stuff, especially on iOS, there's just so much stuff. Like, if you go through and you go, what's new? And you go through it alphabetically, you go through 20 screens and it's just A, and you're like, I'm never going to find anything.
Yeah.
Possible to find anything in there.
Yeah, I mean, I follow Touch Arcade, which is maybe the only good mobile site, because all the rest of them are quite literally being paid for reviews. Pocket Gamer! I saw those emails. Don't get started with me. You're a corrupt piece of shit, is what you are. But in terms of Touch Arcade, they're relatively trustworthy. Although they did have a recent scandal where they had a guy paying them like $3,000 on Patreon, and then they reviewed his game. It's like, I see that being a problem. But they did eventually drop it, so hey. But they have an app that shows you what games are coming up that week, and I scroll through it, and it's 99% rubbish. It's like, these are the games that are coming out this week. There's literally nothing good here at all. It's like, this is a clone of a clone of a clone of a clone of a clone. Or this is some stupid free-to-play clicker game that has no actual gameplay in it and requires no skill to play. And then every now and again, there'll be something like Lara Croft Go, which is fucking phenomenal. Or Clash Royale, which is really, really good. You know, it's like finding a needle in a haystack when it comes to mobile.
Guardian is quite good, actually. Their roundups every week are pretty good.
Oh, do they do a roundup on mobile? I had no idea.
Yeah, and specifically the iOS or Android. And
cool.
It's not just games, it'll be apps as well, but
right.
it tends to be pretty good quality. They don't really post anything up there if it's...
Nice. I should go read that. Yeah, I was desperately looking for a curator of mobile games, like a person that I can trust. And that's really hard. It really is, because most mobile games suck. Should we take a break? Sounds like a good idea. When we come back, we will be talking about the news. We just got the news in that the PlayStation VR's price has been announced. So we're gonna do the VR discussion again. We'll be right back after the break, folks. You're watching the Co-Optional Podcast. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-Optional Podcast. Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Queen.
You're the worst. Now, Jesse, I heard you might want to know a little bit about Battlefleet Gothic before we go into the news.
I would, yes.
There's a video game. So that video game is set in the 41st millennium, not the 34st, which is the worst. The 41st, which is only slightly less worse. Warhammer 40,000, which of course anyone in the UK should know by the Games Workshop that used to be on every street corner, and then they realized this is a terrible idea, we can't make money this way, so they shut them a lot down. Battlefleet Gothic was one of their specialist games a long time ago. It was a tabletop board game where you played the ships of the 41st millennium. You got to fly little spaceships around and fight other spaceships. Pretty cool. But of course not that popular because everything that's not the main 40,000 or Warhammer Fantasy franchise with that company falls flat on its face. But last few years, you might have noticed, Games Workshop has been licensing out all of its properties to fucking everything. And a lot of those games have been really bad. But a company that had made a space game called Stellar Impact prior to this picked up something called Battlefleet Gothic and decided, we're going to make a space game. And it's currently out in beta. And I played the multiplayer beta, and not bad, actually. Pretty good so far. They only have the prologue available for the campaign, but I was really impressed by how well they did the cutscenes. If you're a story guy, Jesse, I think you're going to enjoy the campaign a lot, because there's cutscenes. Everyone is an absolute bastard. Just like in the 41st millennium, everyone's a dick. There's just... nobody is nice. Quite literally, minor spoiler. I'll put the spoiler tag up very briefly here. Minor spoiler. You do the first mission, and then afterwards, they literally torture you, despite the fact that they're on your side, to figure out whether or not you're a heretic and trustworthy with the next mission.
Wow.
They psychically torture you. And the captain afterwards is like, I understand. Don't worry. I was like, this place sucks. What the fuck? But it's really, really thematic. Like, the art is really good. The actual game itself, you control a fleet of upgradable ships. You start off with, like, a shitty little light cruiser at level 1, and you upgrade your crew, you upgrade your ship, and you get bigger ships, and the missions are kind of varied. So it's like, there's an escort mission, and there's a destroy this, or there's a run the data past the blockade, and all that kind of thing. And it's about precision ship control. It's like tall ships in space. Like, if you had a big tall ship with sails, but you put it in space, this is how this would be, because the ships maneuver real slowly. So you've got to avoid torpedoes and asteroid fields. You've got to slowly move around for a broadside and all that kind of thing. And in the full game, you can even play orc pirates that sound very, very British, as does everything. In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, there is only British. Everybody is British.
Because we're like a virus. We get everywhere.
Apparently we did. We spread across the galaxy. Our malevolence it knows no bounds. Neither moral nor stellar.
Like
there you
genital
go.
herpes.
We are. Absolutely. The STD of the galaxy. Yeah, so so far I really like the beta. I think it's really, really fun. It's very tactical. The game is really nicely put together. They've put a lot of work into it. They obviously understand the lore behind it, and as a result, you can do awesome stuff. You can send boarding parties over. You can teleport dudes onto the other ship to set their engines on fire. Yeah, it's pretty legit, actually, so far. So there you go. There's my little Battlefleet Gothic.
Yeah. All right. I'll play
Anyone
it.
else got any other games that we haven't talked about that they'd love to talk about before we go to the news?
Ooh.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
PlayStation VR, though. PlayStation VR, though.
Yeah, so what's up with that? What's up with that
Yeah.
PlayStation VR?
All right,
Tell us
wait.
things.
To the news. Okay, so biggest deal this week, I believe, is that they've announced the price of the PlayStation VR, previously known as Project Morpheus, and the price tag is $400.
Yep.
Not bad.
$400.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
That is way less than the other ones right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
They were in a very good position to be able to do that too, like being
They've
like
waited.
the last ones, to announce a price. Yeah.
But they did that before, like with obviously like the next gen, obviously current gen reveals at E3.
With Xbox One and PS4, yeah.
Like you could see it with like the whole PlayStation presentation, like everything was beautiful, and you're sitting there in the auditorium, and it's like, oh la la la, everything's all like swooshy. And then when it came up with price, it was like someone had just written in pen at the end, like, oh, it'll be £329 or whatever. Like, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it worked for them, so why not change it, really? But yeah. And plus, also, like if you don't have like a really high spec PC, you haven't
This
got to
is
pay
your only real option, outside of having like Gear VR for a Samsung phone or whatever, which honestly is very basic. It's fun, but you're not going to get a good gaming experience on it. I mean, really, they couldn't have priced it any higher than this because they would have priced it higher than the fucking console itself.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this seems like the highest they could possibly get. People are speculating that they're selling this at a loss because if Oculus is to be believed, then Oculus is being sold almost at cost. And if this is somehow $300 lower, bear in mind this thing has a processor of its own because the PlayStation 4 is not powerful enough to render proper VR on its own. It needs an external GPU kind of processor to help it, and that's built into the headset itself. It's actually not built in the headset. I think it's like a thing that plugs into it or whatever. So it's kind of an external add-on. So it's that plus a headset and $400 for that. They've got to be taking a loss on this, surely, right?
But didn't they do that? Wasn't that the same with like a lot of the PlayStation consoles are always
It's with all of them, pretty much. Yeah, almost every console initially is sold at a loss. The thing is that it's kind of unusual, at least in my eyes, to see a piece of hardware that's kind of an accessory, I guess, be also sold at a loss. Because that's usually where they make their money back sometimes, by selling the accessories.
But that's also selling a concept, right? And like VR, everyone's still a bit like, will it? I mean, it's got closer than it ever has before.
Yes.
But it's still like a whole new concept. So it's of benefit if more people buy into it.
Totally.
So that,
They have, unlike the others, I feel like they have games that I want to play already. Like, I want that Ace Combat game. So Ace Combat.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I would probably plunk down on that just for that alone.
That's gonna be so cool. It might be the first Gran Turismo game I ever play because I can literally just play it. Like, I love stuff like that. There's a lot of cool stuff there. There's some things I don't understand. Like, I don't understand why Psychonauts would be a VR game. I don't get that. And there's other games like that. They have a new Until Dawn that is Until Dawn VR. I don't know what the hell that's going to be.
But isn't it like a weird, tenuous thing? Like, it's actually nothing to do with Until Dawn. It's like a kind of on rails thing, right?
Yes, yes. So I don't know. But the other things, like, I know that whatever it's going to end up being, that Ace Combat 7, if you're going to make it a main series game, Ace Combat 7 in VR, I fundamentally believe will be super effing dope. So I'm like,
yeah.
I might be in on this compared to the other ones, which have really cool things, but nothing like solid game-wise yet.
Did you guys play London Heist at all in VR?
No, but I've seen it.
Okay, so like the demo they had at E3, right? It's so simple. And when I explain it verbally out loud, it sounds like a crap demo of a game. You're in a car, you're going away from like a robbery, and you got a bag of money, some other dude's driving, right? And you can, like, you're using the Move controller, so you can reach out and like open the glove compartment, look at the mirror, you can open the door. And basically all these cars and like bikes and stuff start coming after you and trying to shoot you. And it's so simple. All you got to do is you've got a gun, like a little submachine gun, and you reload the clip like this, you pick it up, reload the clip, and then you shoot. That's literally the whole demo. But you know what? You know how, like, basically the controller is like the most irritating compromise when it comes to interacting in a video game. Like, why is B crouch? Just because it is, and that's what we've learned to do. And it's like you give it to someone else, and they're like, this doesn't make any sense, right? Mm-hmm. You've got this Move controllers, you've got these hand like gesture controllers, and like all of a sudden you get that power fantasy that you've always wanted from a game, which is like, I'm me, but me a million times more awesome because you point your bloody hand and you shoot in the direction that you want to go.
Yes.
And you're like, oh my fucking God, that makes so much sense. And I'm like, shooting everyone, like you wouldn't have to explain to anyone how to use it. That's how intuitive it is. And suddenly that power fantasy of being that person where it's just, you're not having to think, oh, what am I pressing? You're just doing it. And like, after I came out of the demo, the guy was like, wow, you really enjoyed that, because apparently I was just like the profanity and the words coming out of my mouth all the way through. I was buzzing for about 2 days afterwards, telling people how much I loved it, and it was so simple.
And it can do the exact opposite. I cite the game The Deep. Fuck that game. It's like you're being hunted by a shark, the experience, but in virtual reality, it's horrifying. I'm not at all looking forward to that. I know that Allison Road, the game that was kickstarted, that's basically like they want it to be the next
PT,
like,
right?
PT, yeah, that game is going to be on PSVR. So it's gonna be, you'll have power fantasies, yeah, but then you'll also be like, well, I shouldn't have played this game. You have a bunch of those too.
Horror experiences, yeah. It's worth bearing in mind, by the way, that the Move does not come with the thing. There's a bundle which comes with I think you need a camera and Move controllers, which is more expensive than that. That's they're probably making the margin up on that. Although I wonder how many people are just going to buy it and just play with a controller anyway. Maybe they're relying on people buying Move later.
It makes such a completely different experience. Like all the times I've sat there with a controller, you're like, yeah, this is great. It's really nice to look around, but really just getting that buzz of like, I want to do this thing, and off I go.
Interface devices are a big deal with VR because, a lot of the great VR experiences are in cockpit. So you're probably looking for either a flight stick or a steering wheel. Like you want to play American Truck Simulator in VR, which is a great experience. You probably want a wheel because, it's going to be a bit more immersive for you. You want to play Elite Dangerous, you probably want a X52 or whatever. And, that's additional cost on top of that. We are, of course, curious how well this thing's going to work because, some people have said it's not a GPU. It's just kind of it handled something to do with the frame. I don't fully understand it, I'm going to admit. But people are thinking, like, how, because this thing has been announced at 120 hertz refresh rate. The majority of PlayStation 4 games run at 1080p 30, not 120. Yep. So there's either going to have to be some serious graphical compromises or this box that they plug in is going to have to give it a serious bit of welly. I'm just not 100% sure how they're going to pull it off. I know a lot of the VR experiences I've seen, and by VR, the actual games are very basic graphically. Like that mech game that they showed, very much like flat-shaded, cartoony-style graphics, not too much detail in the environment. Like, you're not going to be able to play fucking Order 1886 on this thing at 120 hertz. It's not going to happen. And I even wonder, what they're going to do with Until Dawn, because Until Dawn ran like crap on the PS4. What they're going to do if they
stuttered and all sorts of crap, yeah.
Yeah, how they're going to jack the frame rate up 4 times because low frame rate with actually induces motion sickness with these things because the head tracking doesn't match up to what your eyes expect to see, and then you get motion sick. So if that's going to be a big problem for them, then they're going to run into huge issues with popularity. But ultimately, we just don't know at this point. We haven't got to use the final version. We haven't played the games. We don't know how good it's going to be.
Did any of you guys play HTC's Vive?
Haven't had a chance. I've only used Oculus so far.
Yep. So what's really interesting about that is, well, first of all, like being in the UK, no one has a lounge that big. You'll contest to that. Like we all live in cardboard boxes on top of each other.
Yeah.
But what kind of, I quite like the idea, and I'm hopeful of this, is that something like HTC Vive, where it needs like a space, it needs a room that you move around in, and it's really immersive like that. But imagine if that was like the start of
holodeck? Are you gonna say holodeck? Oh my god!
No. I was gonna say like arcades, like VR arcades. So you go to an arcade like with your friends to do like, you'd have like your VR at home, which is good. So like, watch a movie at home, like it's good. But sometimes you want to go to the cinema and get like the crazy cool fun experience. You go away for a weekend to the countryside and you murder zombies with your friends. I
can't believe they haven't already done it.
It existed. It existed
in the 90s. Yeah, it was terrible. But
I went to a VR arcade and fucking like did it as a kid, and you walked on the little tread pad thing with like a thing around you. It's what they're trying to sell us again now, but it was like,
but they're building escape room style stuff with the VR right now, though, where they build the room and then they use the VR to give you the vision of what that room actually is, and then you play the escape room in VR. So you have actual combat, you have like a laser, kind of a laser tag gun, and you get to play a real game. And that's going to be a thing, no doubt.
Well, they used to have in the Trocadero in London, they used to have like a real life game. Well, I say game called Alien War. And it was like a whole like set from the Alien films, and you go in as like a team, right. And then some guy's like, let's get to the dropship, and then you go on, and like someone gets taken out from your group and screaming. And the way they made the aliens look really good was they used like strobe lights, so when it comes at you, it's like that was amazing. I want to do that in VR and like run around some corridors. That would be really, really cool.
Laser tag, but with VR, where it's like. Oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
There's potential. There's a lot of cool potential. If they can make it smaller and lighter.
Yeah.
That's a lot about it, isn't it? Like, if you want to do like the full sort of laser tag in VR, you can't have it plugged into a PlayStation. It's like, Could you do it with Samsung Gear? Probably not. It's probably not good enough. But
you're already wearing those like body vests that have all the battery stuff in it.
So you could build a processing unit into that. That's pricey shit, but it's possibly doable.
That'd be so cool.
I think that's coming. I think there's already places that are either being built or actually integrating that kind of thing already. So I
just have
will
to wear the VR headset the sweaty kid before you wore. That's the only.
Oh, Jesus.
No, I'm gonna pass.
No,
Yeah.
then there'll just be that person like at bowling alleys who just like takes a helmet, just sprays, and then sets it up.
I mean, you'd have to, wouldn't you?
We're
You know, do
job
an alcohol
creators
wipe.
right now.
I am looking forward to the time when that is a thing, like, and that is popular. I will go to a VR arcade and have a fucking blast.
Well,
So cool.
what I was gonna say is like I think what's probably going to happen before that is like the equivalent of a karaoke room, but like for VR, where it's just like a small, like not really big scale, but like a smaller scale thing where you could do like VR stuff and just have a space that's meant for that.
We're only one step away from Better Than Life for any fans who watch Red Dwarf or Red Dwarf. A game
I get
that's
that
actually,
reference.
yeah, the game basically they create this VR game that's actually better than life. So everyone starts playing the game and then no one wants to come out because it's better than life.
Or if you read Ready Player One, The Oasis, for instance,
Yep.
something along those lines. Apparently, there's already some VR laser tag stuff. There's a place called Zero Latency in Melbourne, in Australia, that does some VR stuff with laser tag. I'm not going all the way to Australia for that shit. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, Australia.
But that looks fucking cool. I mean, you look insane and ridiculous in it, but it's okay because you're in the VR. You never see that. I think they actually literally strap a laptop onto the back of you by the looks of it. Apparently, it's powered by Alienware. But that looks so good.
Really warm.
That's interesting.
I mean, I assume they slap a laptop in a backpack. I think that's got like a 13 MX13 or something like that. That would probably run it. But yeah, that would get warm. You're right. Those things kick out a lot of heat. Well, it's cool. Well, we now know the lay of the land, I guess, in terms of VR. The three major players: Oculus at 600, Vive at 800 or something along those lines, give or take.
$7.99.
Yep. Although that does come with all the controllers and shit. Whereas, bear in mind, the PlayStation VR requires the camera, so you have to pay an extra $50 for the camera if you don't already have that. And then you also probably need the Move controllers to play it properly. And the PSVR is $400 base. So there you go. Those are your players. I don't know.
There it is.
I'll pick them all up and see which one is best. We'll see. I have no idea. I don't have a horse in this race right now. I'm betting on all the horses, which, as in real life, means that I lose money. Don't do that. That's a terrible gambling advice. Oh, speaking of gambling, they have just opened a esports lounge in one of the casinos in Vegas.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, just found out about that. You can go in and watch esports. I believe you might be even able to bet on it, but what you can do is you can go and play in tournaments and shit. And it's owned by a casino owner in downtown who's a big gamer. And he said, you know what? We think people around kind of the 25 to 35 age range, they want to play games. They want to get competitive. We're going to set it up in our casino. They literally got rid of their high limit room and replaced it with that.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I guess like people, I don't know how many high rollers go to downtown casinos instead of strip casinos, but
Yeah.
it's cool that they're doing it. So yeah, you can now do esports at the Downtown Grand Las Vegas. And they've got got arcade cabinets, they've got PCs, they've got PlayStations.
Wow.
At the very least, it's a pull for something new, right?
It is.
Like,
When I go back to Vegas, I'm going there immediately. That sounds like a lot of fun. If I can go gamble and play video games in the same fucking place, fuck you, Bellagio. I'm off.
If I can go gamble on your video game playing, even better.
I don't know if they can. I hope you can. But yeah, they've added the dedicated esports lounge. They're doing a tournament on Friday for CS:GO. They have a schedule. Guaranteed. They've got money on these things. You go play in these tournaments, you're guaranteed $250. Madden, Street Fighter, CS:GO, NBA, Mortal Kombat are the games they currently play.
Oh.
Pretty neat. And it comes with a free drink ticket when you buy into the tournament for $15. So there you go.
Hey.
Yep. Even more ways to lose money. Perfect.
I was about to say, hey, you're in the tournament. Have a drink. The worst thing you can do.
It's a casino. Of course they will.
you gotta do, man.
Do you guys have that weird game called the TV show called The Cube?
No, but I love it and I've seen it, and it's.
We have it on the Game Show Network. We do have it, yeah.
So that's what I want to see in casinos, right? A room where you have to do some like BS real life challenge and you bet money on it.
In a straight line. Like, literally, they're like, find the red ball. Like,
yeah, like why not? Just ludicrous. It'd be hilarious. I would so do that. It'd be so much more fun than I'm too much of a pessimist to gamble. I'm like, I'm gonna lose, and then I lose, and I'm like, see.
Well, you can't be disappointed. You know, if you win money. If you don't win, you got what you expected. It's a win, right?
Yeah.
Oh my!
It'd be funnier to do that, or like weird, like Guinness World Record like challenges, the really odd ones, like putting pegs on your face or something.
Yeah.
You can get 50 pegs on your face, like when you're.
You win money.
You win.
Yep.
That would be hilarious, and then you'd live stream it, and they'd make loads of money.
Incidentally, speaking a little bit more about VR, they announced the official Star Wars VR experience, Trials on Tatooine. Or Tatooine, sorry, not Tatooine. What the fuck am I talking about? Tatooine, yes. Quite.
Trick Queen, what?
It's a planet, it's there.
And it is by Industrial Light and Magic Labs. It's going to be a Star Wars experience for HTC Vive. You will be able to deflect blaster fire with a lightsaber.
Huh.
So, and all that kind of thing. So yeah, it's going to be a VR Star Wars. That's going to shift fucking units, I think. I might be wrong, but I think...
A game where you get to have a lightsaber. Guys, remember the last time that we played...
oh, no! Don't bring it up!
No,
Star
Wars game using the highest of current technology?
I
remember vividly. Vividly.
Are you talking about the one on Kinect?
Yup! Yup!
We all got together in the apartment and played it. It was...
There are gifts online.
Because that one night, that to this day, I'm always in the top 15 worst dances of the internet.
And I was in that same frame and wasn't called the worst dancer. So actually, no, you were dancing with Dodger, weren't you, at that point? I can't remember.
It was my butt shake. I did a little butt shake, and people were not feeling it. The internet was like...
You ended up on BuzzFeed for that. Like, in the top 50 worst internet dancers of all time.
Number 13 of all time. Thank you very much. Of all time. I've never been more proud.
Pretty harsh. That's pretty harsh.
Oh, it's genius. It's the only time I'll ever agree with BuzzFeed, that toxic cancer of a website. That one thing, they got it right. Even a stopped clock is right twice per millennia, apparently. Oh, dear God. All right. Indeed. Other news. Where the hell did you even go, Dodger? You disappeared into your seat. There you are. Wonderful. Riot Games acquires Radiant Entertainment and basically cans Rising Thunder. Some people are a little not happy about that.
Yeah, the game was like basically done in like a really good alpha stage. And then everybody's like, oh, well, guess that's gone. Although,
you think they're starting it over? They're starting from scratch?
The speculation is they're turning it into a League of Legends fighting game.
Yeah, the speculation is they're going to take that because since all of the abilities were on a cooldown, like League of Legends abilities are, that they're going to take the framework of Rising Thunder and then replace all of the characters with League of Legends characters.
Interesting.
Yep.
So like
feasible.
Pokken.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes, exactly that.
Yeah.
But of course, people are a bit salty because it's like, oh, I liked this game, and now Riot has basically eaten it. Yeah. So you could clearly see why some people would not be pleased about that.
Yeah.
So that's a little unfortunate. But, it's really interesting to me that finally we're actually seeing a new game from Riot, even if they had to nick it from somebody else. It's just intriguing to me.
Well, they've got to be thinking, like, long term. I mean,
yes.
Obviously League is still massively popular, but they're not stupid. They know they've got to kind of start thinking about what's coming next, because they know it's not gonna, it can't last forever. It can't.
No, it can't. There's no doubt about that. So it makes sense. I mean, there were the rumors they were going to release a card game. There was that leak, apparently, that they were going to make a kind of Hearthstone-style card game. But I don't believe that's currently happening, but who knows? I mean, they were committed so much to League of Legends, certainly. So I don't know, but I mean, would I play a fighting game with League of Legends characters in it? Yeah, probably. But it's definitely a shame they had to eat Rising Thunder in order to make it,
Right.
So that's a bit salty. Speaking of other bad news, Everquest Next, not gonna fucking happen. It's dead. It's dead. That's sad.
I feel like it's one of those things everyone saw coming, though. Like, it was just from the announcement to now, it's been so
It
long.
has been so long, yeah. And they released Landmark, and people were like, yeah, okay, I'm sort of getting the feel of what this actually is. And then it's like, well, when's EverQuest Next coming out? And they're like, at some point. Well, the weird thing is Landmark is still alive. They're actually now just developing Landmark into a game. You're muted again, Dodger.
No wonder. I keep wondering why I start to talk and then everybody else talks over me. It's because I'm muted all the time.
Quit doing it.
So, what was I gonna say? Fuck, never mind.
Great, awesome.
Well done, great contribution.
All I was gonna say was I think they expected the EverQuest name to carry them
More
a lot
weight.
further, and also to be able to say, oh well, Landmark is EverQuest meets Minecraft. Doesn't that sound perfect? And people played around with it a little bit and then said, okay, now what?
It was like way too early. There's actually far too many companies, I think, that are going down the Minecraft route of, oh, if I release really, really early and it goes viral, my game's going to be a huge success. Yeah, it worked for Minecraft, but it ain't going to work for you. It didn't fucking work for Cube World. It certainly didn't work for Landmark. Landmark was released. I was excited to play it. And I was like, there is so little here. Like, this is way too early. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. Daybreak, I'm very worried for them. You know, I mean, I know they've got H1Z1, but they just split that into 2 games, quite literally. They just split the survival bit from what they call King of the Kill, which is basically their Hunger Games mode.
They realized that people really
Everyone just wanted to play the Hunger
version.
Games mode.
Yeah. So they were like, let's just split them into 2 games. It's fine.
Did everyone that bought it get that, though? Like, they didn't have to go and rebuy it, right?
I have no clue.
I hope not, because that would be scummy as hell. They can't have. No way. Like, everyone that owns that game must own both of those, right? Actually, hang on a minute. Don't I own H1Z1? I can fucking tell. Isn't that in my Steam library?
You can find out right now.
Yeah, didn't I get H1Z1 at some point? I never actually with it. Yeah, I got King of the Kill and Just Survive. So I guess if you own it, you'll get both. So, I mean, that's not too bad a decision. Honestly. Like, what does everyone reckon to that? Because, I mean, that's a very unique situation where you have a game, you realize someone really likes one part of it, not so keen on the other, and then you cut it in half, create 2 separate games, and split them up. Is that acceptable? What do you reckon?
Well, it depends on support, right? Like, I think a lot of people are feeling right now like, oh, they split up the games because they've realized that that it's going to benefit them more to put a lot of support into the King of the Kill mode. So now there's this concern of like, well, now is King of the Kill going to be the only thing that they really support?
Yes. Yeah.
And then everybody who really liked regular survival H1Z1 is going to get fucked. So as long as they continue to support it, that's fine. I don't know.
Sure. That's fair, I think. And again, it's not like they screwed over everybody that bought into the early access version. They did give them both. Yeah. But you are right. And the problem is, of course, that genre is really competitive right now. You know, The Culling just came out, and apparently that's doing really well. There's this...
Yeah, but when you watch it, I haven't played The Culling. It is boring to watch.
Jank. Well, yeah.
It is super jank ball. It's like not...
All those games are, though. I don't like watching Ark either, because even now, that game looks like broken and not finished, and even H1Z1, I got the same vibe from that. It's like, wow, these animations look like from the PlayStation 2 era, you know? There's this weird... There's a tribe of nomads. It exists within the gaming community. They make their tents out of the skins of their enemies. They hunt buffalo on the plains. And they migrate from game to game to game. It's a giant nomadic tribe of early access survival battle royale deathmatch people.
You mean my fiance?
Yes,
who are you talking about?
It's the Strippin tribe. Yes,
yeah,
the Sam Strippin tribe.
Yeah,
married into the Dothraki. Exactly.
That's exactly it. You are now the Dothraki queen.
Club. They all just move from game to game. Yeah.
Yep, they move from game to game to game, and it's in that genre, and none of those games are finished. Not a damn one, and it makes me wonder if they ever will be, because this tribe keeps moving on every time, so I don't think the tribe's ever going to land in a finished game ever.
They've moved back to Rust now, and I don't know why.
Oh, really?
I don't know what's
I guess I got an update. They're cursed to wander the plains eternally, such as the Dothraki tribe.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, maybe it's just like they've just got serious FOMO issues going on, so it's like they have to.
What is a FOMO?
Fear of missing out.
Oh, I've never heard that. That must be a British term since I left.
Oh, sorry, yeah, FOMO. So fear of missing out.
I'm not up to date on the British acronyms these days. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. So yeah, they probably just want to like go from place to place to be like, it's like the hottest new club, and then once everyone else turns up, they're like, it's boring. Let's go somewhere else now.
It's weird that you mention that, because I think that's a legitimate thing. I really think like the zeitgeist, I guess, is the term to describe it, of what's currently hot right now and what everyone's talking about is actually a strong, compelling reason for people to buy into games, because they want to be part of that conversation.
We've never used the term FOMO, but we've talked about the fear of missing out.
We absolutely have, yeah. We've also talked about how companies exploit it, because really, a sensible consumer that wasn't influenced would almost never buy games on release, because they're always fucked in some way or another. They clearly have less content than they will a year down the line, and they're more expensive. So there isn't, the only reason to buy a game right then is impatience, and a lot of that impatience is driven by that desire to be in the conversation with everybody else and to be part of the current zeitgeist of whatever is currently hot right now.
Especially
and companies know it.
In a streaming culture like the one we're involved in,
yes,
it's about being there day one, playing that game with
like
everyone else.
And also it's that thing of, I don't know, it's like, when you like hear about people who are like, oh, I like that band before they were popular and they were cool. Like I was here first. It's like a little bit of that shit.
I think there's a little bit of that. I don't know how much kind of hipster style stuff, I guess, is about.
But it's the mentality though. And I think that's true. Like whether you're a hipster or whether you're anybody, whatever you're into, you want to be, there's that certain type of person within that environment who always wants to be like, I want to know about the weird Korean horror movie.
Sure. Well, it's part of what makes you interesting as a person, right? And you shouldn't really define yourself by the things that you like, but it's certainly an aspect of your personality. You know what's really weird about the whole hipster attitude is that really it should be the exact opposite of what it is. To me, if I get into something early and it ends up going mainstream, I feel validated. I don't feel upset. I feel like, damn, I got good taste. Everyone else is just catching up to me. I'm on the bleeding edge of what's awesome. That's how I feel about it. That's why I'm never like that when stuff gets really popular that I used to, was niche and I used to really enjoy. I'm proud of that. I feel really cool when that happens.
For me, it's never a fear of missing out. It's a fear of having it ruined.
Spoilers. Yeah, that's also a big deal, especially in story-driven games these days. The spoiler culture is getting really bad.
I will never stop feeling like I played Undertale at the perfect time.
I agree. I played it at the perfect time too, I think.
I played it the second it came out.
Oh, I didn't.
Played all the way through it before people started to create memes and shit out of it. And I feel like it's really hard for people to play Undertale now because so much of the game is being shoved in their face.
Oh.
It's just fucking everywhere. And I'm like, thank God I played this game before anybody had a chance to create that shit and have it
I quarantined myself from most of that, and if I hadn't, I probably would have created a bias against the game before I even played it, because loads of people are like that. People are like, Undertale's a meme game. It's like, well, if you played it, no. Why do you believe it's a meme game then, whatever that means? Why are you devaluing it as a game? Well, because people are fucking stupid with their fan art and their stupid shipping and all that kind of thing.
I agree with that though. I mean, I'm on that train. That people are stupid with their fan art.
It's not like
it doesn't devalue the game.
Devalues the game.
Oh, no, the game's great, but I'm just on the part where fuck all those people is what I'm saying.
Some of it's okay. I mean, sorry.
No, I'm just quite a fan. Even in films and stuff like that, where I try to go in as blind as possible sometimes, because sometimes you go you see a film or you see a game or play a game and someone's told you something and you go into it expecting it to be one thing and then it's something else and you're pissed off, and it could be a really good game, it could be a great film, but just because you went in there with a completely different preconception of what it was going to be, you get annoyed. So
when someone tells you there's going to be a twist.
Yeah, things like that. But just sometimes, when I do my little thing on YouTube, I tend to play it as blind as I can because I want it to just be as natural as possible without knowing anything about it at all. And it makes it funnier and it makes it way more entertaining, especially if I completely miss something really obvious.
I absolutely don't disagree with that at all. I mean, I go in blind kind of out of principle and out of necessity in terms of trying to make sure that I don't carry a bias in with me to any critique that I do. And there's a real risk of that. That's why I don't read other reviews. The only reason I do any research is if I'm having a big technical issue and I need to make sure it's not just me, then I'll do research at that point. But outside of that, I will not look at anybody else's opinion generally before I do a critique. Because, yeah, you absolutely get affected by it. But there's a weird, especially with the films, the comments from Hollywood always seem to be, as we ask, why do you keep spoiling movies and trailers? Because they actually sell more tickets. Because people feel more comfortable knowing what to expect as they go in versus a complete surprise.
I'll never get it.
I hate that. I hate that. I just don't watch trailers anymore because I'm not that person. I'm the opposite of that. I want to be surprised when I go to a movie. I don't want to know what it's going to be. But I guess I'm also kind of privileged in the sense that I have better finances than most people, so I'm not taking a risk when I go see a movie. The only thing I'm going to lose is my time, you know? Whereas other people, like, go to the movies is expensive. Same with buying games. I wouldn't be surprised going into a game, but a lot of people watch a Let's Play before they buy a game because they want to be sure they're going to like it before they drop the 60.
Well, that's why every Let's Play ever, the first episode, has triple the views of any other episode.
It does, totally.
Everyone goes to see what it is, and then they're like, all right, I'll either pick it up or don't give enough of shit to even watch this. And that's
Let's Play replaced demos in many ways.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a shame, because demos are a way better way of figuring out whether or not a game's good or not, but they also cost a lot of money to make, whereas Let's Plays do not. So, there is that. But yes, the zeitgeist, it's a strange thing. I feel it's happening a lot with The Division right now, because apparently The Division is Ubisoft's best-selling game ever, according... Yeah. I saw something about that earlier. Let me just double-check. It might be their fastest-selling game ever. I'm not sure it's their best, but hang on. Best-selling... The Division is the best-selling new franchise that Ubisoft has ever created.
All right.
Is the news as of 10 hours ago. Biggest first week ever for a new game franchise for Ubisoft. So basically, this busted Assassin's Creed. I mean, I guess back then, the original Assassin's Creed was maybe not as popular, until they ran it into the ground. But, apparently they broke all their records, apparently, with this in the first week sales.
Can we talk about Assassin's Creed and Ubisoft for a second?
We can if you want.
Let me get comfy.
My absolute favorite news story this week was the blog post from Ubisoft that was like, hey, pre-order your Assassin's Creed movie tickets now. You get a bunch of pre-order bonuses for doing so.
Oh my god!
What? Yep.
Pre-order bonuses for movie tickets!
We will get you the popcorn ready.
Hold on, I tweeted it out. I want to read the amazing things you get, because, y'all, it is...
You can get a crossbow.
You can literally just get a crossbow.
What a working one?
So, all right.
It seems a tad dangerous to give someone a crossbow before they go into a movie theater.
So if you go to kernel.com/movies/Assassin's Creed for $15, you get a movie ticket, a collector's watch, a script, a Aguilar and Maria temporary tattoo. For $25, you get a t-shirt plus movie ticket plus script. For $60, you get a McFarlane Toys Aguilar Hidden Blade plus the script and popcorn, y'all.
Well, I mean, that's the bargain right there. Popcorn's usually at least $75 a box, so, you're saving money there.
For $120, you get an Assassin's Creed.
Julie, you don't understand. This is why Trump's popular. The U.S. is out of control economically. It's completely ruined. That's why Trump's going to win.
You get, plus, the original costume was created by famed BAFTA-nominated costume designer, right? You can get that. It's worn by Michael Fassbender in his starring role. You can get that and a ticket to see the movie and a digital copy of the script and behind-the-scenes extras. For $600, you can get an Aguilar Premiere scale statue with the script and a digital package. And then for $1,200, a Spanish crossbow from Ubisoft Workshop.
Yep.
What? But you haven't even seen the film yet.
Exactly!
2-hour movie.
Thank fuck somebody gets it.
Crossbow, Julia. I don't know what the problem.
I could buy a...
What's the problem, Julia?
I could get a better crossbow and not have to spend 2 hours watching the Assassin's Creed movie. Win-win. I can tell you where to get a good crossbow. Absolutely.
The internet.
Yes, that's actually it. Yeah.
It is super amazing that this exists. I found this was like, shut up.
It's
That's disturbing. I'm disturbed by that.
it's
I have to
out of
say.
control. I mean, selling someone a functional weapon is possibly not the best idea.
Can't they just like give away
It's
guns with
crap.
Happy Meals?
Don't worry about it.
It's not quite that easy, but you know, unfortunately, everyone's watched Bowling for Columbine, where apparently like he easily gets a gun. It's actually not that easy. Apparently, he misrepresented a little bit of that, but it is surprisingly a crossbow. I can go into a Walmart and buy a crossbow right now.
What?
Easy, no problem.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think you
He
can
does
also
live in the South, but yes.
yeah. And to be fair, I think you could also do that in the UK. I'm pretty sure online anyway. I could just buy a crossbow in the UK.
I've never seen a crossbow in a shop in the UK.
No, although actually I have. It was a hunting shop though. Yeah,
Well,
That's different.
yeah. UK crossbow laws. Using
like
a crossbow for hunting is
Sainsbury's by the till or anything. On my
no,
way.
they don't sell them in. This is the weird thing about America. The biggest culture shock when you move over here is that they sell lethal weapons in the same place that you buy your milk and eggs.
It's weird.
It is a little bit strange.
I'll make
baby.
you last dinner.
Buy Mart. In my hometown, if you go to the Buy Mart, they've got like, all of the different normal departments. You can get your clothes, there's the electronics, and way in the back is the gun area.
Yeah, or the sporting area as they call it, which is
the sports area with guns.
actually crossbows are now illegal in the UK. They didn't used to be. I think actually my katanas. Yes, I was that guy. In the UK are actually not legal anymore. I have a proper full-on properly forged sword, and I don't know if I'm allowed to own that anymore. Actually. It is apparently, actually, as of 1987, it's considered an offense to hunt and own a... It's an offense for any person to sell or let on or hire a crossbow. Yeah, so actually I'm completely wrong, but you can buy a regular bow. You can buy a regular bow, but not a crossbow.
Gotcha.
In the UK, apparently.
I want to point out to everyone who is looking at this pre-order website, the movie doesn't come out until the 21st of December.
Of course it doesn't. Pre-order your movie tickets. You know, the $15 price for some areas is actually a bit of a bargain, because in some theater, I don't know which theaters that would work in, but in some movie theaters over here, it is more expensive at prime time to get a ticket for an adult than that.
Totally.
So if
Yeah.
you get like a script and a
Definitely.
little
Los
bonus with
Angeles.
it, if you know you're going to see it, that's actually a decent price.
But is it? I mean, it's not exactly a film that you're going to not be able to get tickets for. It's not
No,
like they're
it's
making
not.
out that like it's a limited edition and there's
Yeah.
only like.
I mean, fucking please. I showed up for Deadpool on day 2, and this theater was a quarter full at most. And that's Deadpool, like one of the most promoted movies fucking of all time. And I think I'm going to be able to get a ticket to Assassin's Creed. Yeah, I think I'm going to get in.
I mean, I appreciate it's Michael Fassbender, which is great, and he's amazing.
Yes,
but
he is.
You can't polish a turd.
It's true.
I'm curious about video game movies always. I go and see them just I know they're going to suck, but it's like every now and again, maybe they don't as much. Like Silent Hill. Silent Hill was better than I had any right to be. Oh, you can pull out all you like, but I actually didn't hate Silent Hill. I thought
Silent
it was
Hill
alright.
was cool because of the way it looked.
Visually, yes.
Visually, it's an amazing looking movie.
Yeah.
But it's even like it's even weird. Like not even like in a good way weird, just a weird. Like there's a lot about it. You're just like,
What?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Silent Hill is inherently weird. I guess it just wasn't weird in a Silent Hill way.
right. It's just like I don't know. I think the point when you hit razor wire ripping people apart is just like, all right,
Mm-hmm. And I will see every Resident Evil movie that is ever made, and I don't care how bad they are. Not gonna happen. I'm gonna see all of them.
Speaking of polishing a turd, I believe
Yeah.
that Jesse has some politics to watch. So
Yeah, we
you're
actually.
gonna help me go watch. Yay!
yeah,
He's
so-
gonna go watch politics, so we're gonna do our releases
yeah,
and wrap
so
up the
let's
show.
do our release
So
list.
excited.
So that
Indeed.
Jesse can go and just watch our
I like
whole-
how you made this about me. Thanks, Brooke.
That was you sneaky. She really wants to get the hell out of here. She's using you as an excuse.
I also have a live stream to do, but Jesse made it very clear he really
Yeah,
needs
no,
to go and
Ooh.
get his politics
Super
on.
important.
Oh, here's just to mention for release, by the way, Shelter just got released. So which is is a post-apocalyptic shelter management game, as in like Fallout Shelter, but not bad. So I'm gonna go play that. I think after the show's done, and eat my wonderful steak. All right, Hit us. What we got releases-wise?
All right, so today, March 15th, we've got Dynetzel Extended. Whatever that is.
It is a number puzzle game based on the features of a standard 6-sided die. It is $1. So if you got dollar, actually not dollar, but just dollar, then you can pick up Dynetzel.
Dollar makes me holla.
Does it? God, you have low standards. Next.
Next up, we've got Candlelight.
Is that a horror game? I think. Based on the canon, it is not. But it is a world filled with darkness. Yeah, it's kind of an adventure game thingy. You have the lone surviving candle. Hang on, are you the lone Are you actually a literal candle?
What?
I think you play a candle. I'm looking at the screenshots. It looks... Yeah, you are a fucking candle. You have a wax meter. This is a video game.
Well, next up, March 16th, we've got Overpower, which is a
MMO shooter?
MMO shooter. Yeah.
Early access.
Medieval based.
Yep.
That looks like... It looks a bit like kind of Battleborn or Paladins or something like that. It's a medieval sort of style thing. It's got like the kind of nice cartoony TF2-esque graphic style to it. Actually looks quite nice.
Yeah, I like the look of it. The next game is called Nanobots.
Nanobots. It's a $4 game, fast-paced casual game about destroying self-replicating nanotechnology robots. You have to reduce their population to 0 to win, but they can replicate in seconds.
Oh, no.
F those guys.
Fucking
Yeah,
nanobots. Ruining everything. Next.
Next up is called My Tower, My Home.
Alright. It is a blend between tower defense and shooter platformer 2D. Ooh, this looks kind of fun. It looks like you kind of build up your defensive tower and you're also on the tower defending it. So it's almost like kind of building a castle and trying to defend it. Looks kind of neat, actually.
Cool. Next up is called Dark Parables, The Little Mermaid and the Purple Tide. TB, would you like to guess what kind of game this is?
I will use my special powers. Is it a hidden object game?
It is!
Yay!
Yay! Next up, we've got Prison Run game.
Prison Run game? Did they have to...
Prison Run and Gun?
Prison Run and Gun. Jesus Lord.
Yeah. The recent events in the state prison involving Jake and others was a perfect moment to escape. You are one of them. It's a platformer. It's an expansion to a game called Hot Guns. Yes, Hot Guns. Which was a fun, enjoyable, and destructive action platformer. There you go.
Okay, the next game on March 17th, we've got Positron, which is a 1983 game. So I don't know.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I think No, this is literally Tron. This is fucking Tron. You remember the Tron Light Cycle game that was at the arcades in the 80s?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah? Yeah, it's that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's a kind of a remade 3D, but I fucking love Tron. It's a mixture. It's like competitive Snake almost. It's your light cycle trails. If you crash into the light cycle trail, you immediately die, and you're trying to race around at high speed on a light bike and kill the other dudes by getting in front of them and just cutting across them with a light beam. I fucking love that game. Huh. I might play this just on that basis. Tron. That's some nostalgia. Love it.
Next game is called Victory and Glory Napoleon, which is a strategy game where you play Napoleon.
No big surprise.
The next game is called Emporia, Realms of War and Magic.
Emporia, spelt with an E?
Emporia, yes.
Got it.
E-M.
Yeah. Free-to-play game, old-school fantasy strategy, but free-to-play? That doesn't sound old-school. This looks like Clash of Clans to me, but... Ugh. Yeah, it's got PvE and PvP. I might have a look at it. Oh, New Realm starts in 2 weeks. Oh, God, this is like the old web games we used to play at school in 6th form. Yeah. We used to sneak on the library computers. And did I tell you how I got into those games? Did I tell you the special technique we used?
No.
A website called AskJesus.com. So back then, of course, there was Ask Jeeves that everyone knows about Jeeves, the personal butler. There was a site called Ask Jesus, and what it would do is it would translate a site into kind of Bible verse stuff. What we discovered is that was a perfect way to get past the URL blocker on the school network. So we'd put our games through Ask Jesus, and through the power of our Lord, we were able to play.
That's amazing.
It was wonderful. All right, that's my little story. Next.
The next game is called Pharaoh Rebirth, which is a game where an ancient evil has been set loose, and Jonathan is cursed in the process.
He's a rabbit. He's a rabbit. He uses
A rabbit?
ears to fight. It looks cool.
And he now has to collect the 7 holy grails from around Egypt.
I will-
Full of
Like a cool
grails
game.
to cleanse himself of the curse.
It's a value pack. It's like you went to Tesco. It's like 7 for 6 on the Holy Grails right here. It's a bargain with a coupon. You get a free bird's eye chicken breast with that.
Yeah, one grail doesn't. You can't have a party with only one grail. You
Yeah,
gotta
I
have
mean,
enough for
yeah.
everybody.
Well, I mean, in our hygiene-conscious world, you can't be sharing cups like that. You know?
Yeah.
Just can't do it.
On March 18th, we have Chester, which is a chess game, as you might expect.
Okay.
Next up, we have Samphi, Samphi.
SAMPHI. It is a randomly generated survival RP. Oh, fuck me. It's basically a Terraria clone. This looks completely like Terraria. Look at the screenshots. This is blatant.
Next up, we have Prio, capital P, capital R, lowercase I, capital O. It is a visually striking yet challenging platformer about manipulating the environment.
You can tell she wants to go, can't you? Next.
Shadows Peak is the next game.
Shadows Peak. Sounds like a hairstyle. It is not, however. It's a story-driven atmospheric horror game. It's an early access. Big surprise. Looks like Dear Esther. Next.
Next up is called Cosmic Leap. Time your jumps from planet to planet and avoid the objects thrown in your path. Blast off to safety with your rocket ship.
I like the graphic style of this. I
like
love
the
that.
graphics a lot.
I love those kind of cube world, hey, we're doing blocks and polygons, but we put a bit of a sheen on them kind of look. It's actually the Crossy Road style, I think, by looks of it. I like that aesthetic. I think it's good. Overplayed, but good. Next.
Next up is Tech Wars Online. It's a robot game.
I guess it is. Next.
Next up is called Royal Heroes.
Strategy game set in a world of heroes. Royal heroes.
Royal Heroes. Actually looks pretty cool. It looks like it's got a really cool, like, old school sort of Warcraft 2-esque graphic style to it.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what the actual, looking at the pictures, I can't tell, like, the strategy element of it.
No, it's kind of like some crowded crafting, but it's got levels with that kind of lock over them, almost like it's a mobile game. But I'm going to have a look at it because, again, I like the fact it's like, this reminds me of Warcraft 2. Next.
Next up is called Tiny Knight.
It's a platformer, but like one of those old Nintendo 64 platformers.
It is.
Perfect.
Next.
Next up is Hiragana Pixel Party.
What?
Hiragana Pixel Party.
Me?
Hiragana, like the Japanese writing. Hiragana.
Oh, yeah, like the Japanese writing. Yeah, totally know that. Yeah, thanks for that. I appreciate it. I don't know what that is.
Okay, well,
But it is a thing.
I guess I'll look it up then.
I apologize. I'm sorry. Sorry that I don't know how to spell hiragana. Jeez.
Look, you're married to a weeb, and you are a weeb at heart.
I'm
So,
not.
you
I only
do
like
probably
certain
know.
things. I'm a
But
weeb
it's
in
action
denial.
Platforming, Japanese learning, chiptune adventure.
Rhythm
Is what
action
it
game. Sure it is. Next.
Next up is called Warbirds, World War II, Airstrike 1942.
That sounds like it's been released before. It's a
Yeah,
2.5D World War II combat game. The aesthetic is quite interesting, but I don't know if it's any good. Next.
Next up is called Roses and Gems.
Let me guess. Match 3? No! A sandbox platformer. It's Terraria again. But this one looks even worse than the last one. Oh my. Alright. Jesus.
Next up is called 28 Waves Later, and it's where
Zombie.
you're
That's a
trying to
zombie
find
shooter, isn't it?
zombie.
Gotta be,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
That's so
zombie shooter.
blatant. That's so blatant. Alright, next.
Next up on March 19th, we have Void Raiders.
Ooh, that sounds spacey.
Shmup.
It's a radical top-down roguelike shmup with permanent character progression. Huh. Actually looks pretty neat. Next.
Next up is called Take the Dream 9.
9?
Yeah.
9. Apparently there's...
9? It's a visual novel. No, it's an RPG. It was made in RPG Maker.
Even more perfect, I guess?
Apparently there's fucking 9 of them. Next.
Square's Root.
Yes, that was that clever little name that I was appreciative of. It's
Yeah.
a
An
pathfinding
addictive
and weed
game of
whacking.
Pathfinding. Yeah.
You play a cube with a smug grin on its face. Love it. Next.
Next up is Helen's Mysterious Castle.
Also looks like RPG Maker, but it's an RPG where you try to find a hidden girl's past.
Yep. That is absolutely an RPG Maker game because... Holy shit. You know, I made an RPG Maker game a very, very long time ago, and I used that exact same fucking sprite. That green-haired girl, pretty sure that's a default sprite. Or it's nicked from somewhere. But yeah, it's kind of classic RPG thing. Next
up on March 21st, we have Alchemist's Awakening.
Alchemist's Awakening. I hope that's as fun as it sounds. It isn't.
Open world.
Open world fantasy, multiplayer, creative, survival, building blocks, early access. All the words I hate. Next.
And finally, we have Hyperdimension Neptunia U Action Unleashed. I swear to God, there's a new Hyperdimension Neptunia like every other fucking week that we do this.
No,
you are absolutely correct. There are so many. Choose your tag team. Yep, this is boobalicious. Very much anime boobs and killing slime. If that's what you're into, this is what this game has in abundance.
The end. We did it.
The end.
Congratulations. Well done. All right, we're about done, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for putting up with the audio problems that we finally figured out. Again, it was our first run with this software. We weren't 100% sure how it was going to work. I will say, visually, like cam-wise, it's been very stable. So once we figured the sound issues out, it's pretty good. So big thanks to Zoom, who literally called me today to ask to set up a meeting to get my feedback on the software, which was slightly disturbing. But I have to pay every month for this. I mean, I have to pay every month for this, and it's designed for business conferencing, so I guess they do a different kind of service there. So I will tell them what's broken with it. Yay! I'd tell them, make it easier for us to fix Julia Hardy's audio, because it wasn't her fault, damn it. It was not her fault. But Julia, thank you very much for taking your time to come on the show today. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. If people would love to know where to follow you, where to find you, what are you doing over the next couple of weeks? What's going on?
Okay, well, I have a YouTube channel, although I'm not as prolific as you chaps. So I do a bit of YouTube, which is just the same as my Twitter handle. But I'm doing a bunch of stuff, monthly content for the BBC. Although it might be region locked, some of it is on YouTube. I've just finished a Fight Games documentary, which came out last week, which you can get on iPlayer. I don't know if they pushed it to YouTube yet, but it's called Fight Games: The Thrill of the Kill.
That sounds fun.
It's really about Street Fighter, but we can't say it's about Street Fighter.
Nice. All right, I'm going to watch that. That's usually, that kind of stuff's usually pretty fun. Awesome. Jesse, what's going on the channel this week?
Oh, come watch the end of Oxenfree, because it's going to be awesome. That game's super dope. And that's what's happening. And I'm excited to go watch this. Look! Today's super important! I don't care what it says!
Yeah, he wants to go and watch politics shit. And you want to go stream, Dodger. Where are you going to be streaming?
Twitch.tv/dexterity bonus. Every week after this show, I do a stream with my cousin Tyranny, and we play Final Fantasy XIV, and it's been super fun. So I'd love it if you check that out. And on my YouTube channel, Press Start to Continue, you can find some Tank Girls. We're trying to hit on Tank Girls, and also the VODs of The Guest. So that's been going up. We have the first 2 episodes of both of those up on YouTube right now. So you can start getting your Tank Girl on immediately after this.
Not the tank girl that I was hoping for, but never mind.
not the same
Not
one.
at all. No, you want to go bone an IS-2 is what I would say to... That sounds like an insult you'd use in War Thunder, actually,
Please
or World of Tanks.
IS-2.
Go bone at IS-2.
Don't do it.
Not much coming on the channel this week. I'm sorry, unfortunately. It's another fucking chemo week, but I think I'm on round 9 to 10 now, so I should be getting off that for a while, which will be... I'll enjoy that. But I did, however, prepare today a Division video, so I'm going to put that out tomorrow. Podcast will be out Thursday on the show. Sunday, we are doing something, either Secret Hitler or something on Tabletop Simulator, I believe. We're going to be playing... We're going to do some game. I'm going to make this fucking regular. I had so much fun with Gremlins Inc. We're going to play some more fucking board games. They're awesome. And thanks for everyone supporting that. And I'm currently recording my first ever cooking video. I am fucking deadly serious. This is going to go horribly wrong. I'm probably going to melt the GoPro. I am literally filming a 2-hour sous vide precision low temperature cooking process. I'm going to put OC Remix music over the top of it, and I'm calling it Sous Vidia. Boom. Yes. I have the best stupid ideas. Thank you very much for watching. Big thanks to our guest, Julia Hardy, for taking so much time out of our busy schedule to come. She, as usual, being a fantastic guest, is welcome back anytime whatsoever. And we apologize to Bangbox for not getting their promotion this time around. But next time, if you want to sponsor the show, email Jenna. She can set it up. Thank you very much for watching, folks. We very much appreciate. I'm going to do the /host on Dex bonus so you can watch that stupid RPG. And don't do it. It's shit. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.